Just thank you to all the fans. Appreciate the support. Let's watch some good matches here.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Welcome back to Pacific. Yeah, so you can just leave your headset here, and you know, just or you can stay here. It's up to you. But anyway.
No, don't go.
I'm keeping the mouse. That's all. Like, that's my mouse now. Anyway, here is our build diff roster that we have picked. I was this close to picking Primi. Our producer knows that I've like been back and forth.
Yeah.
Talk me through your rosters real quick. Who are the highlights? Who are the ones that you were debating the most over?
The good news about my team is I have 5 highlights. Everybody's standing out on my team. I took some risks here. Maybe they'll play Duelist. Maybe I'll lose some points. But maybe they'll kill 45 a time. That's what I'm going all in.
Can I have a special request of production today? Can we get the total that Morgan's lost points-wise by the end of today? Based on how many times people have played Duel.
Don't win by playing it safe.
I like that. I mean, look at it with this like tens tat on his face. Like
Exactly.
How can I not take this guy seriously?
I'm imbued with power.
Just to remind you guys the rules and why his picks were so crazy. If any non-duelist role ends up playing a duelist, it's -5 points per map, per player. So that is some risky plays. I am never bringing you to casino because you are crazy.
Yeah.
All right, now let's talk about things you could spend on if you end up winning it all, which we're not winning money, but we're winning a laptop, a really nice laptop. You guys can now buy the Ascension bundles. They are in the stores. Which one are you guys buying? Which one have you already bought?
I have already bought the Boom bundle after Boom's success, but to be honest, I'm tempted to buy Nongshim. I think if Nongshim make it into the playoffs, I might buy their bundle as well.
Oh, that's
Can't
fair
go wrong.
enough. I mean, Boom is going undefeated so far. I think it's a pretty great bundle to invest in. Pilski, what are you making of the standings right now? We're going to be finalizing who's going to be going into playoffs.
Yeah, you can see Group Omega a little bit more up in the air. Got a couple of make or break matches over there, but even just looking here right at the start of day 13 here in Group Alpha, this will decide who's going to be that 4th team advancing into playoffs. So we don't have to wait to find out what the results of the groups are going to be. We're going to find out straight away. And even that second match for today going to be incredibly important.
Oh, so now we are seeing PaperX play today, and that blue hoodie, very familiar. We saw a lot in 2023 Champions. They call it their lucky hoodie. How lucky are they going to be today? This is a little bit crazy that PaperX is one of the 2 teams who are fighting for that final spot in playoffs.
I mean, who would have thought they were going to be here? This PaperX team has never missed playoffs here in Pacific, and things could be all about to change today. It's very, very simple. Win and you are in, lose and you are out. This is a situation they have never found themselves in, but still very possible for them to make playoffs, but it all comes down to today's performance.
Yeah, absolutely. And Patman is the newest addition to this roster, which hasn't changed for a very long time, but he's shown a lot of promise. This player, Patman, is familiar with a lot of the GE players back in the Philippines, back in Tier 2. So for them to be facing off against today, it will be very exciting for all 3 players. Poppy is one of those players. Kelly S is the other one.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bittersweet feeling when you make it into Tier 1, you see some of the homies, and you're like, yes, we all made it, boys, but then you have to literally end your friend's career. It's over after this. No.
Yeah, they're not friends after today, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's going to be some hearts broken. But GE undeniably going to be the underdogs here against PaperX in this matchup. They have had some up and down performances as of late. They've only taken a win over DFM, who have kind of struggled so far. In fact, they beat DFM a lot easier than PaperX beat DFM. DFM was in demon mode last week, so we'll see how this matchup is going to end up going. Darion is in once again. I want to see if they keep him on the duelist roles, because he did have a little bit of a strugglesome position, but maybe it's just the duelist role in GE that's cursed, Morgan.
It very well might be.
That's why you get 5 of them and then just figure it out from there.
That's
it is a do or die match. So we were talking about this could be PaperX's first time never qualifying the playoffs. But if Global gets in, it's the first time they are ever in.
Yeah. Very much so. That would be an exciting moment for this organization and all the fans who have followed along so diligently on their journey. You know, it would be a real flip of the script today if GE managed to make it in and eliminate PaperX from contention. As we say, the stakes can't be any higher than this.
It is super high right now. And speaking of duelists, the question, of course, is always, who is going to be the duelist on PaperX? And they keep adding new duelists. former duelists back into the duelist roster, then they put them on smokes. You never know what's going on with this team, especially when it comes to dive duelists.
I feel like they just like roll dice or play cards at the start of the week for who gets to do what. It seems almost entirely random, but we did see it work last week. It finally came together. They managed to get their first win in stage 1, so I hope they haven't changed too much from that. I hope the dice landed the same way.
Yeah, I think some of it's coming down to comfort as well, where you're seeing something even on Pearl, where he's previously playing Yoru, he feels more comfortable on Jet, so he's going to play Jet. We're going to get into the map veto, though. GE taking out Fracture. Paper X, they've been banning Haven for quite a while, so they're going to continue to ban Haven. No surprises to see GE pick Split, and that is going to be their pick for the majority of these series when it doesn't get banned out against them. Paper X will play defense, and then Paper X going for Lotus. Their Lotus looked pretty good with something on the Yoru.
I liked it last week. I thought it was definitely one of the better maps that I've seen from them, so they're looking to carry that momentum. But there's a lot of footage out there on both of these teams now. GE, they've shown their split plenty of times before, so I do think there's a lot that Paper X will be able to look at to be able to counter this.
So looking at this split game, you can see Paper X, they have banned it once. They have not played it since kickoff, which was that very tight game against T1, where T1 almost lost to a bunch of teams, including that third map decider against Paper X on split. That was the 11-13. You did have Jet Rays that they played back then, and for GE, they have not changed their split comp too much at all, and they are once again going to be picking split here. So I'd imagine they're just going to keep rolling through with the same comp that's had some success for it throughout kickoff into stage 1 now. Yeah.
Now, predictions. It has been a while. It's been a couple weeks since we've seen a full flush Paper Rex.
Oh.
But do you think this is overwhelmingly in the favor of Paper Rex? Real quick, just
no,
yes or no?
I wouldn't say it's overwhelming. I think when it comes down to one game like this on the day, anything can happen, and both these teams have been pretty even. But I think all of us are just leaning on Paper Rex because they've managed to take more maps throughout this stage 1.
All right. Well, we're going to find out who's going to be going off to playoffs. Is it going to be Global Esports or Paper Rex?
Makan guys. Makan ya.
Paper Rex. Today
Harusnya
marks
Patman
the
main lagi ya?
do or die
Oh, iya, Mas
weekend
Patman
here
main.
in VCT Pacific, and who is going to be qualifying to playoff. Now, ever since Paper Rex added in the rookie, Patman, we are slowly seeing the resurgence of the old Titan of this team. However, is it enough at this point with everything on the line? If anything, Global Esports seems a little confident here. They said if there's any day they can take Paper Rex down, it would be today. This is their window, while Paper Rex is still struggling to figure things out.
Yeah, Paper Rex are the fallen giant trying to get back up on their feet, and they took that first step last week, and they can continue that momentum, make playoffs today, but they have to upset this Global Esports team.
That's right. Now, we did see a lot of promise from Global Esports since the beginning of this year. We talk about this every single week, that they have a lot of good pieces on the board here, but things keep shuffling around as well. Darren coming back into the roster, and it looks like they're also still figuring out their comps.
Yeah, for sure. I think at the end of the day, this is a winnable series for Global, but they need to hit their peak as individuals. We need to see why a lot of these players were picked up for this Global esports roster today, because in terms of firepower, some of these Paper X players are starting to wake up a little bit more. They're given some of their comfort roles, and they're definitely going to be trying to run it down today.
Yeah, when you're playing against Paper X, you cannot let them control you. You can't let them run the tempo. That's what GE need to do today, and they need to be able to hold their ground from a firepower perspective. That's been one thing that's really missing for this Global team, so if they're able to shoot back consistently today, they definitely have a chance, but I don't want to see them start slow, and I don't want to see them get run over by Paper X's fast speed.
Yeah, absolutely. That is something that Paper X often uses to their advantage, and Global Esports, they should be familiar with this concept by now. Now, we talking about this a little bit earlier. The teams are very familiar with each other. The 3 Filipino players, Patman, and the 2 on Global Esports with Kelly S and Poppy, and also Crystal and Something have a bit of history too, our 2 Russian players. So I think they're going to be having a lot of fun today, whatever the result is.
Yeah, a lot of overlap in Origins, even for like Jemkin and a lot of these East Russian players kicking around the Japanese scene in the Tier 2 and then coming into Pacific. So a lot of very big firepower players from that region of the world, and a lot of familiarity from the Tier 2 little different sub-regions that you do have. For this game, though, I think for GE, I mean, the fact of the matter is they're going to have to start attacking side of split. They've chosen that. So while they do need to start strong in terms of like actually picking up rounds, I think it is going to be a slow start to this game. I think their attacking side of split has been very slow, has been a very crawling pace thus far.
Yeah, when we look at the difference between the plan times for these, Global Esports, it normally takes them about 1 minute and 6, PRX 43 seconds.
That's huge.
And you can almost see this difference reflected in the composition styles.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll take a little bit of a look at what GE are playing.
main
Darion is going to be
lagi.
on the Raze. I wouldn't be surprised if they kept obviously
main
Unitard on the Raze, because that's what they played in kickoff with this exact
Ini
same
balik ke
team,
Raze
exact
lagi
same
akhirnya.
comps, but they're going to keep the roles consistent and play the comp they're familiar with. On attack, they usually are doing a lot of slower kind of contact days in the mid to late rounds. So I want to see PRX control a ramp and stop them
Daripada
from
maksa
doing
main
that.
1
Yeah,
duelis
Paper
gitu.
X's style
Jadi
clearly
aneh
the
gitu
polar
mainnya.
opposite. We're seeing the double
Bukan
duelist
Paper X
with Jing back on the Raze, Forsaken taking that Omen. So their style is of course much faster. We're going to see them fighting for that space on the defense, trying to restrict GE's control.
We got to see a little bit on the camera, Paper X warming up a little bit physically. They're kind of changing up their tempo a little bit, fixing their mental game. This is something that has had question marks over the last year and a half. Like, this is something that they needed to work on to keep the stress low as they go into this do or die match. And like Coach Elevated from Global Esports says, the question in winning is who wants the playoff spot more? We're going to send it over to our casters, Quack and Komodo.
Oh, yes. Thank you very much, Victoria Big Time Bilski. Yeah. Do you want to pick the playoff spot, Dion?
Me? Playing on the stage? I don't think my vision really commits for that one. I'm happy. I'm comfortable here.
We're comfortable here for sure. But, I mean, just taking a look at the agent selection so far, do you see anything interesting?
I mean, it makes sense for Global, for my side of things, having Darion just substitute in towards where Patrick Hu was. That one is a little bit, you know, expected here. But on the flip side for Paper X, changing it up, you know, used to seeing them float with the Sky on Forsaken, but that seems to go away right now. He's going to be back on towards the Omen, which we did see some good performance from him picking it up for the first time against DFM over on Lotus. So we've got that as the second map of this series as well. Maybe it's just a day of smokes for him.
Possibly. I mean, that's kind of an interesting thing as well, just given the fact that Paper X, actually both teams, honestly, in this entire map veto, they haven't really played it since kickoff. Now surprising, possibly Paper X with the map pick itself. Yeah, Paper X coming up with this composition where we now see something on the Yori a lot more often.
And this is do or die time for playoffs, everybody. You have to remember that going in towards this one. Both teams currently at the 1 to 3 mark, with GE opening up stage 1 against DFM, copping the dub there 2-0, but mapless since then. And for Paper X, well, they've always got a map in every single one of their series, finally besting DFM as well in that heated third map that we saw last week.
Which is where we come down to this final series in the final week of group stage. Can Paper X make it through to playoffs? It all kicks off right here.
And as we saw and heard, Global Esports on the attacking side right now, but look at just the numbers for Paper X around mid. They have a great idea on how they want to play this pistol round to contain this.
Stars around as well, though. So they will keep themselves backwards into its Crystal now, who then pushes in towards
Temen tuh
Vince.
Kristal tuh.
Gets awkward though, doesn't it? You hear the shots, more members up at the B tower. You need to see something
Biasa
big
nggak
come
gitu
out
dia?
from Forsaken.
A bit of a survival smoke towards the top of ramp for now. They haven't quite checked him out so far. Off towards the wayside on the edges of the smoke though, and he does find the double. Trades out from Crystal, and then for Divine to flush back in. They're trying to find some pot shots, prevent GE from getting that spike down, and they will pick up the pistol right off the bat.
Man, I thought that round was actually going to go towards Global. The fact that Crystal's just kind of stampeding up through the guts of mid, supported with the rest of the team. We've seen Crystal, you know, kind of in majority of the games that Global have played, be topping on the ratings for them. On the flip side, it was Jing who's somewhat been topping completely, besides one for Forsaken to come on through. But yeah, a pistol round that you look at the top 2 converting openers, right? 5 versus 3 that they're able to get on back from that one. Makes things a little bit awkward when you feel that Crystal's just done the lion's share of the damage, and then it's Divide to just get some good taps out as well at the end there. A force up from Global is interesting, given by the fact that they didn't actually get the plant down here.
Still gonna try to bulldoze their way through, perhaps.
Yeah.
Got the stars all placed out.
Well, you know that this is such an important game for Global that they would have done probably the most prep that they ever would have coming in towards this week, you know. One game and you can get into playoffs.
Right,
Wah,
with
good
the
start.
specific map pick as well. Right now, just being able to find some shots against a couple of the PaperX players, something to trade with Guardian. Forsaken with his own Guardian as well. He does feel a lot of contact though, so the paranoia sent out. Maybe a bit of support from Patman around the edges of this smoke as well, but close range, it's not going to find its targets. Now down to just Jing. He does have the Bulldog, but you also see rotations now coming up for Global.
It just needs to be some good shots to come out from Jing at the moment. So far, the force up from Global working a treat, but low HP for both of these members. They have to play this one somewhat together or play for time. Star already on the spike, a Gravnet available too.
Possibly to even play for range. Jing, though, looking to close in the distance for now, but he dives right up on top. It's an easy shot for Kelly S to bring one round back up on the board.
Yeah, you're not going to see too much consistency come out from a flying Bulldog there, unfortunately, but it would have been funny if Jing was able to find that one. You can criticize the buy up, the force up, all you want from Global, but they make those stingers sing, that is for sure. At long distance range, something not able to get it done with the Guardian nor Forsaken, really. And then it's again just through the smokes where you think that PaperX have a player in the right position, but Sheriff versus Stinger, not going to work out there, unfortunately. This is where you've got to have some good decision-making from PaperX on this defensive side to have an answer back, if not this round, the round after.
Perhaps a little bit more consistency as well. They're going to attempt at peeking out, though. Tripwires across for now.
This is risky for Patman because, I mean, he's got the gun and he's by himself as a fade. It's not generally a situation that you would look to see someone pretty self-sufficient in. You know, we see once upon a time Forsaken going for a lot of those plays with the bird when playing on the sky, but this is a bit of a different look for PaperX now, T1-esque, right, with the comp that they are playing.
Also just trying to refill the space that their teammate has just fallen, so Shrouded steps over the trip.
Yeah, but is it going to do too much, honestly, right? You just need to see something big come out from Divide if they go up through towards Mail, but if not, it's just going to be something. One blind side. He's got the fake out clone as well available, which is actually going to get sent early here.
Yeah, not much to really stall, but I think one big point would be the dark cover that Forsaken just sent out. I do believe Yudotan just noted it.
Now they're all contained. Look at that. That's numbers for Forsaken.
Paranoia back in as well. He still has to contend with all 4 of them, though. He's the only one holding the angle. Actually,
they're rotating.
Rotate A ini, rotate B.
Go through to Mail.
The
Prowler as well. Divide to get ahead of it. Does find the first shot. Paint shells out from Jing now.
That's a spike.
And that's a second kill as well. Forsaken now coming back in from bottom mid. Spots up Poppy. And even though Poppy can still find some shots, it's 10 seconds left. And yeah, you're right, Komodo. The spike on the ground.
Yeah, that's some really ill decision-making to come through from Global. But you flip it on its head, and that's some great decision-making from PaperX. They have a bit of an overstep in the beginning from Patman. But apart from that, everything is just pretty clinical, right? You've got time being bought from something on the side itself with the clone. You've got the poison cloud being popped. You've got the dark cover that comes, and it's all just buying time for Forsaken to get this flank happening. As soon as he gets that first kill and the paranoia goes out, GE are really locked and contained in Garage. They don't know how many members are exactly on that B site ready, and with sub 30 seconds, I mean, it gets very difficult to try and get into the site like that. Great round to come out from Paper X to now bring some stability back to this defensive side.
Still got those guns as well. Well, GE still able to buy up somewhat. Look to push in towards B this time.
Just down on the timing. Again, an emphasis on mid from a bit of this util, but an off angle from Forsaken.
One killing,
Yeah.
tries to TP away, but punished by Darian.
Gotta remember, he is relatively new to this Omen role too. Has to configure a lot of the timings almost mid-map.
Yeah, the angle's still somewhat exposed. That said, though, Jing will happily take a kill against Yudotan down middle, but it's also the spike and the site, you know, somewhat granted to Global Esports.
Jing might look to just satchel in with the judge.
Oh, and he will do just that
Bang,
alongside the
definitely.
Prowler. The range not quite there, so Crystal still able to trade, but then for Patman to trade right back.
Yeah, that judge, you think you might not be able to deliver on too much there, unfortunately, but when you've got your team all surrounding the site and you can kind of just get sent in and your team can pick up the scraps if you do need, it's a close quarters gun, but it's got some range towards it, and the damage was delivered there, so it's another round, this time in succession for Paper X. Gotta say, Darion, if you're able to get activated really early on this attacking side, it has to bring some confidence to Global, considering that him and Patrick Hu have kind of, you know, almost been non-existent in its entirety of this stage, right? They're kind of sitting at the lowest in overall duelist stats at the moment, so if you're wanting to see somebody step up a little bit for Global, in my mind, Darion stepping up is going to be an absolute net bonus for them because Crystal's already been really good, Yudotan's already been pretty good, Kalias has as well, right? So if you've got another piece that is stepping up, it can be pretty potent for Global.
It's always been that 3 core and also the best possible stage for Darren to do it right now. You know, we've been talking about Crystal and something having some familiarity. Darian being coming from the Singaporean scene, you know, having that experience from Bleed as well. He's quite familiar with some of these Paper X players too, so that should give him some confidence. That said, we're slowing things down.
Yeah, but the problem is when you're not running this Sentinel as Paper X, you have to just be very proficient around your info gathering around the map, and that doesn't work out for Pepman. Caught in the open, the site is now Global.
Somewhat unfortunate. Forsaken now punished as well. You got the paint shells to continue pushing Paper X off space, but Jing happy to go for this fight against Darian. A bit more confidence coming up from Paper X.
He's got Showstopper but no satchels, so it would be a scare tactic, or you got to get close already.
Okay, Crystal is close, however. It does set the Nightfall as well, just to keep Paper X away.
And you got this flank being watched by something. Is a little bit apparent that Pappy might be coming for it. Keep an eye on that one.
Still got to watch out for the possible timed peaks. Crystal still watching off towards elbow, but here comes Jing with a huge party. It does blow up in Crystal's face, but then for the Global Esports players to continue holding, that's when the lurk comes up. You got a player up over by Rams as well, and something has to watch for it. Jing still sticking up to the spike, though. It's a grab net, it's Annihilation. It gets Jing off halfway, and that will be the round picked up by Global.
I don't know, like, I'm going to put my hat in the ring here. I don't know if that gravity well was bait to just keep them in the spike itself, even on the defuse, ready with the Annihilation, because you're usually using them to pull them off the defuse, right? That didn't work. He's still able to stick it there, and to be fair, Jing nearly gets the full defuse before that Annihilation came out. There could have been an awkward result there for Global at the end of it, but I got to say, the beginning stages for them, mid is looking a little bit unattainable in positions. You pivot over towards the A site, Patman's caught out in the open, none the wiser, and you're getting into the site, you're setting yourselves up, you've got a flank. Like, these are some really good things to come through from Global there.
And you mentioned, you know, you needed to see Darren step up, and he did just that in that previous round. What happens about this round, though? Paper X now noting that they need information, so you see them beginning to peek out into garage a little bit more.
Yeah, but an adjustment at the moment as well from Global. Just slow and steady. You've got a little bit more eyes on Garage this time with Pappy just holding about. But an operator for something and Forsaken in tow. How confident are they that they want to remain around Garage? You've now got something on the line. And he's got the opener as well. No smokes on a map like Split. Quack can get awkward.
Awkward is one way to put it. And Jing will just, well, if you have social anxiety, now this is not the scenario that you want to be in. 3 players left. They still got to try, though. Darren does have a showstopper as well.
You got to cut some corners here as Global. You need to at least find a free gimme, you'd think, a pre-fire on towards something who's still holding the Garage line. If you're shouldering this one slowly, it's not going to work out, and Darion falls.
At least attempted at a swing, but yes, That will be something very much still controlling this sightline down B.
Yeah. And we did hear it earlier on from Mr. Big Time, right? How long does it take global esports to try and get into these sites, to try and get a plant? It takes over a minute 10, essentially, for this B site before they look to get in. But this time, well, they're not breaking down in towards the site. You hope they're not breaking down in the comms now, because you feel like they're starting to get a wriggle on this attacking side. It's not working out. These kills are almost inconsequential in terms of the rounds. But a couple of extra ulti orbs, I mean, you'll take that as Crystal to get closer to a Nightfall.
Yeah, 4
Banyak
more.
gerakan tambahannya tuh terlalu
And
banyak.
you'll play with the economy, most importantly for Paper Rex, right? They've not built
Ada
up
aja
a lot
gerakan
of their
tambahan
credits
yang
at the
ini.
moment. They're going to have to do some quick maths and quick allocation on what weapons they still want to be purchasing up. I saw a tail end of an operator coming out into this next round. Sorry, an outlaw into this next round, because you've lost the operator now, of course.
Precisely, which does kind of, you know, mean that you're going to lose some control as well. You're not going to be able to push up into B again.
If Crystal's going first or Pappy's going first, I mean, the Outlaw is going to finish them off quite quickly, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're just going to switch in towards a bit of a retake scenario here as Paper Rex, because you've got the Dimensional Drift, you've got From the Shadows. What else you've got is another line, deep, being held by something. Other side of the map this time, supported by Patman, supported by Jing. Now you can fall off and kind of stave off Global from going into this B site, because they're all getting ready outside Garage. Sonic Sensor popped. In case any pushes do happen later on.
Which ain't too bad. Petman does have the Nightfall now also, because he picked up that Althorp, so just to watch even further now. Those smokes buying some time for Paper Rex around the B site.
And the onus is kind of on Global Esports right now. Where do they want to try and transition to finish off this round? If it's going to be towards the Bravo site, well, there's 4 members there of Paper Rex.
Well, G trying to be tactical with their approach, you know, trying to suss out as much of these positions as possible with the Prowlers.
Spotted out something, pushed up through main. They want to pivot in towards the A side. It wouldn't be the worst idea.
Oh, but the Judge and Jing as well, just to hold it down pat. Linear angles, and it's the paranoia that flushes Kelly S all the way to Garage. Petman holding down B as well. The Outlaw getting taken out by Yudotan though, so possibly we got an Alpha plant.
Yeah, but the thing is, Forsaken, if he takes the one-on-one duel here, it could upset the whole round with Kelly S running a marathon towards the site. Paper Rex beat them here to the site before the spike even gets here. They don't have to wait for a plant here. They could recognize by timing that Kelly S has to go for the plant, and it's just unachievable now. This is another round where Global are too slow.
That was, you know, really appropriate point being brought up by the desk, Big Time, and noted it immediately. And, you know, perhaps it was an attempt at being tactical, but just some moments hesitation, and they fell, you know, down around Mail.
There's no pressure. There is no pressure that Paper Rex are feeling like in a situation like this. Through the dark cover, you've got 3 members watching the Mail location. Showstopper doesn't even get ripped out in that one. Yeah, you lose something with the Outlaw, but you did pick up the Operator with Divide there. So they're getting out of this as a complete net positive as Paper Rex. You've got another round, you're building credits, you've got the Operator, you didn't invest any ultimates of yourself, and you remove the Showstopper of Therion.
If you're Paper Rex, you see this as an absolute win. You've got all these ultimates online as well now. You can get cooking.
Absolutely. And we're cooking with gas. We've got good flames here. No flint and steel. That's a lucky shot, I'll say. A little bit there. Stinger on towards something's head, but he braves it.
Let's get down low, but also for Divine now to hide inside of this smoke. Poppy trying to get sneaky around the sides, and he will find the Sheriff shot.
Yeah, but look what GE have managed to do. They've got in towards the A site with a Cosmic Divide dropped.
And then for Forsaken to find that trade back onto Poppy. So spike down, you got the Dimensional Drift now going in from something.
Get all the information that you possibly can, recognize no one's on the side itself. Well, where are they going to be? Screens, it's the only option.
100% Forsaken to take the first kill. Kelly has to trade right back though. Something now trying to disrupt the positioning coming out from Kelly S with the blind side, holds the angle then with the op. Yudotan though, also getting taken down. Kelly S now into the shorty, 1v1 around the corner. He's hopping, and something goes and peeks into it. A beautiful quad coming out from Kelly S in round number 8.
He's certainly just stand and delivered around that site there, hasn't he? Just all the shots coming on out where required. Even the Sonic Sensor dropped in case Forsaken goes for another tap onto the spike, because at that point in time, you technically don't know if they're holding it or not, but the Sonic Sensor going down, it makes something get a little bit more awkward. A single shot out, and well, he's getting stunned up, and the HP was there in advantage for Kelly S. Great little round to come out from them on the thrifty mark as well. I mean, if this is the way the map is going to go, Quack, we're just going to get some pretty strange, you know, unorthodox rounds in terms of any sort of consistency.
Oh, we're also going to begin to take a look into the upside down now. Darren with the op takes down Jing up by A ramp.
Now you've got the pit catered for as well in case there's any further pushing up through mid with Kelly putting the sonic sensor there. And in this sort of situation with Global Esports getting the opening kill, they don't even necessarily need to worry about mid whatsoever. Give that over to PaperX, keep Divide there, because that weakens the extremities of the map. That weakens any defending at the A side or any defending at the B side, especially if you figure out where any other members are currently situated.
Precisely that. They just saw Prowler down A ramp as well, also the smoke, so that gives them some idea. They're beginning to connect the dots, but they're still looking to get a pick off.
I believe I just heard, yeah, I did, a shot out from something with the operator in Garage. So now Globe will also know where that op is currently playing.
Okay. Well, we do have Petman now beginning to rotate back over onto the B side. If something can find an opening pick here, this could be massive for PaperX.
You just got to get through. The Flex got himself in Forsaken at the A site.
What an angle to hold as well. He could potentially TP back to safety.
It's 30 seconds. He's got a paranoia. He can stall a little bit. He hears all the footsteps.
Yeah. Here comes that flash. Oh, Lord. Not quite landing the burst and the trace, but recoil control will get him there.
And the Nightfall, it stops him.
Patman now to hold the off angle. GE just have to go. They're flooding into it, but into the blender they go, and Defy to burst them down with the Phantom. Crystal for the trade, but Defy still collecting onto the 3K.
Somebody needs to let Global Esports know that we had a team earlier in this tournament. Their name was RRQ. The clock needs to be, you know, watched on this attacking side of Split. You can't play disrespect against the time.
Yeah, we're just tapping on our wristwatches right here because it's time to
go.
Definitely felt kind of like they're putting themselves in a bit of a cage. 3-6 currently is the score, and PaperX taking the lead.
I mean, the Global more confident in their ecos, in their thrifties. They've done more damage so far with that sort of weaponry.
Yeah, I imagine maybe it's a little bit of that emotional pressure as well. Perhaps with the ecos, then they begin to feel like they can just let loose, but then they go straight into Devi, who's just spraying into the smokes. Forsaken now off from Vents. He does get traded by Crystal, though.
Still got to be a little bit careful. If you're going very close, the Stingers are just going to rob you of your life in this round yet again. Yes, Devi was good for one with the Poison Cloud Toxins and the Snake's Bite, but now needs to stand with the Phantom, and he cannot. An opportunity now for Global with Clack. Time to spare.
You got a full minute to work off of. Certainly, the Global squad will begin to assert themselves across the map. They found themselves with rifles picked up. You've got Crystal onto, more utility to clear out positions.
And Patman's just thrown the horn over at the A side of the map. So who do you favor? Going into a known quantity of Patman on this fade with a bit of util used, or an unknown, unexpected position of something on this Yori where you know the operator's in play?
Obviously, you're going to go for Patman. Oh, he's still able to hold the angle. A double kill found by Patman.
Okay.
Just Poppy versus something now. We've been talking up the Poppy clutches. We haven't seen them too much.
Yep, one smoke available to use his gravity well for time a little bit later on. Something getting rid of the operator, a Phantom in play, and now it comes down to where you think Poppy goes.
Not gonna lie, Komodo, I feel like I'm favoring something a little bit more this one. He's got flashes, he's got a clone, and fake footsteps. Meanwhile, Poppy just trying to hide around his smokes. He's inside of screens right now. It's a tight corner that he's holding. Something will go in for the tap here.
No, he won't. He's just trying to play around the corners. No smoke available for Poppy whatsoever, remember?
Oh, trying to stick it halfway. Poppy playing the patient game. Will be able to find the headshot at the very end of it. Global up to 4.
Yeah, you've got something trying to clear every corner that he possibly can, but Poppy just repositioning quite nicely. Generally you would expect, or at least I would expect, an Astra player in a situation like that, when you go for a bit of an open plant, put a star on the spike, you may be playing from heaven, or you're wrapping around through a ramp and playing over at main, but Poppy just very chilled in that moment, goes in towards screens because you isolate how many angles something could potentially go. He's more than often than not going to have to clear around the whole site and then maybe expect you to come from heaven. Great little individual moment there from Poppy to keep Global in play. 4-6. They convert this one 5-6, or you're tying up at the half, or it's 5-7 at worst.
And it was a bit of a swing round as well. I mean, PaperX now find themselves with lesser weaponry. Good guns on the other side for Global, and they could, yes, potentially tie this up.
Global Esports are just very slow to gain this A main control. I like the fact that they are here a little bit earlier though this time, right? Generally, they've given a lot of respect over towards PaperX and what numbers they're putting up through ramp, who's holding over the main side, whether it's been Patman, whether it's been Forsaken.
Oh, but also this time with the weaker guns, now PaperX not really holding A ramp up front. It's just Divide to jump peek, and he's already been spotted out. Global still kind of piecing things together.
I believe something might have just seen the shoulder of Darion too, but it doesn't matter. Not able to best that Outlaw.
A little bit more confidence with the peaks now. The second kill found in the round. Divide to try to regain that weapon to hold down the position, but he's not able to since the firing squad from Global has marched up.
Now you just need to see Global Esports not falter. Darion to have a great multi-fragging round on for the 4K. And who stands behind him but Forsaken with a classic.
Oh, it's a classic. So here's what he's going to do coming out. He's going to spam crouch a bunch behind the boxes. He's going to hold the angle.
See, I think he's going to smoke him off and then try and just go up with the spike because there's a wall keeping them in screens that they now get through.
But he also hears the guns firing off nearby.
Oh, they know where he is.
Oh, it has to peek out.
Nice work from Crystal. That's going to be the 5th on the round on the scoreboard rather, for Global Esports. And as I said just previously, right, they can make it a tight scoreline at 6-6 or worse now 5-7, where, I got to say it, when they've got time to play with, they're looking better. When they don't have time, they're not looking that good. So play with the time, better adjustments from them so far. Just gathering some control a little bit earlier in through mains, right? We've seen them get into garage when they're pushing them back. We've seen them get up through A side of the map as well.
Especially when Darren's the one finding these opening picks. Those were anti-ecos though, and now we are positioned for an explosive final round of this first half. You've got ults aplenty for Global.
I mean, when you're considering getting in towards one of these sites, just Crystal with the Nightfall to be able to off-put any audio. The HP, you send in Darion at the same time. You got options to go still for these traps that the Gravnet and the paint shells offer you.
Could PaperX be positioning for a retake then, though? So Jing with the showstopper?
I mean, a definite situation where we've seen Global Esports favor mid a lot of the time just by this repositioning. Now at the minute mark, PaperX need to find some solidified information, right? Pushing in through garage, seeing nothing's there, leaving Patman to spot the info of the util over at this A site. Gives him an idea that ramp is going to be a little bit void of information.
Calls Jing over to check with the boombot. Patman does have the haunt refresh as well.
It's good macro ideas from PaperX, using this utility now to gather information.
They don't see too much until Yudotan goes in for the peek, but gets burst down by something. Into garage now with the Nightfall.
And now they know where it's happening, right? It's the B site that this is ending up. We see the combo of utility, a showstopper missing its mark.
Oh, but still the kill collapsed on towards Divide. Annihilation just to push PaperX a little bit further back, and then the Bear Mesh coming in. You got the showstopper from Jing, though, and he blows up the site. Poppy getting blown up. Patman to trade. Kelly S trying to find some trades as well. They beginning to run out of time, but they still get the spike down. It came so close, Komodo.
2-on-2.
Got some flashes. Forsaken, healthy and full, and they're going in for the peaks. They found out where Crystal is, just down to the peaks and the kills. Now, mechanical skill, Forsaken goes in out front. The C's from Crystal, but still Forsaken hunkers down.
I think Crystal at the end there may have just ran out of ammunition to bring the C's to try and find himself some timing, or maybe miscounted a couple of bullets left in the chamber. Either way that one goes, bringing out util at that mark there. A little bit unfortunate to not win the 1 versus 1, and I got to say, within that round there as well, Global Esports making sure that the trades were there to keep in the contest, right? How many times did we just see Kalias reposition himself around the side to try and get involved in a lot of those duels? When the blindside came out from something there as well. Unfortunate on the planter that peeks out, gets completely blinded and loses their life for, again, more trades. So I gotta say, Global, we've seen a little bit more proactivity from them when the time isn't really clicking on down towards its 0-second mark. Are they going to be able to transition that now in towards this defensive side? Because when you look towards what they're running on the Cypher Lock, right, they're going to have a lot of stopping power. They're going to have a lot of utility that we need to see cleared out from the likes of Patman, from the likes of Jing.
It is PaperX once again, you know, finding themselves with a bit of a lead after the first half. So, you know, we kind of gather that you just don't want them to throw this lead away. It certainly can happen when your opponents are running this rather defensive composition.
Name me a more iconic duo than PaperX and dropping map number 1 in a best of 3.
You had to say it, hadn't you? Oh man, it certainly is something that has been happening throughout this group stage. We cannot deny it.
No, not at all. And even then, when they're looking to get their first series win, I mean, the overtime that we had on Pearl,
No.
It was
Last week, 2v5.
It was a map.
Week before that.
It was a map.
Yeah, we've got some shenanigans happening. I must say though, this first half coming out from PaperX, it has looked a little bit cleaner. They were certainly more aware of what Global Esports might look to deploy against them.
Yeah, Forsaken as well. Feeling a little bit more comfortable in the Omen just by positioning and timing on the dark covers as well, right? When he first brought it out, I saw some egregious smokes that the timing was very questionable. I could say the same for Jing a little bit as well when he first adopted it, but also learning is really good for PaperX. Now, quickly up the ramp.
Oh, all the footsteps as well. Crystal looking to break the clone at least. Darian, though, now with a frenzy just inside of Vents, and he's able to take 2 down. The burst out from Helios with the right clicks, but still Patman to trade. But PaperX do find themselves at a huge numbers disadvantage.
What can Divide do here, though? A little bit unknown in Garage at the moment. You've got a grouping up of the global members, but Patman, 5 HP, can try and keep them entertained at the site of A, but
if you're global, surely you recognize that Petman either goes up mid or back into A tower.
Yeah. And this is why Papi's just making sure that he's spotting it out. He doesn't necessarily need to stick around for a duel, but with 5 HP, I mean.
Devi's got to make some noise for his brother out here, but all right, just going in out for the peaks. He does get that dink. Devi now snuck all the way through with a Sheriff as well.
Need to see a sharp shot from him. Yudo-tan is watching, but Yudo falls.
And possibly a little bit more as well as he threads the needle onto Crystal.
That's so quick.
Poppy, though, looking to play spoiler. 1v2, takes down Patman, the first to fall. Devi now, just one more shot. He's running out of ammo and backed into the pillar. Now a potential opportunity for Poppy as he sends out the Nova Pulse. Devi, oh, might have spotted out his foot just with a crosshair placement to top it off.
Man, where have those shots come from Devi? Headshots out with the Sheriff, absolutely clinical, quick to come out from him as well. We needed to see somebody step up in this series, right? We need to see some sort of consistency, and I mean, if Devi is going to be stepping up, I'm all for it. If Darion's stepping up on this raise as well, I'm all for it. I thought that this pistol round was looking pretty good from Global Esports yet again to be able to try and figure things out, but it's once more like the first one. You think Global get a lead in a pistol, and PaperX bring it back.
Oh, Komodo, I know, right? I mean, both teams feeling themselves backed against the ropes, and they're just trying to fight tooth and nail for this, but something now with the shots through the smokes.
I think maybe he just saw him over the top of the toxic screen.
Good chance for that to happen, but also now for Global to necessarily come back into refill space. The Outlaw picked up once again. Yudo-tan, though, not quite landing the shots. Has to run back to reload. Almost getting tagged out by Jing. The paint shells does flush him out into the open, where Devi collects. Just Crystal on the site now. He's got the Stinger. He will find his first shot, but 7 rounds left in the mag and Forsaken to collect.
And look who's going hunting at the moment, Jing. He will be reeled back a little bit here with the rest of the squad, but he will hear the footsteps.
And hides into the smokes. Oh, Komodo, this could be dangerous for Jing as well, because the Stinger's on the other side. Kellyes.
They don't go together, but he still wins that.
Grafnet now, and they've heard Devi as well. Second kill found. This could still go over to Global Esports. You do have Forsaken perched up on top, though. With elevation, you might be able to throw them off, but it's not even needed. Patman just to hold down by screens.
There's 13 HP between the two of them, and somehow they managed to weather that one and not drop the second round yet again like the first half. I hate highlighting these components of this game of Valorant, but I think we need to. Okay, that shot's ridiculous there by something. Yudo-tan, someone who has been absolutely pivotal to a lot of successive rounds for Global Esports this stage, even, you know, regardless of them not winning maps, he's been such a solid rock for them. He's really getting cut down to size in this map so far.
Ooh, yeah, let's take a look, won't we? Down to 4 kills only, 11 deaths. It's been rough for him, especially in this first half. You would hope to see more now that he's deadlocked on the defense. He's beginning things with the Grafnet to hold, but PaperX is nowhere to be found.
Yeah, just making sure that you're going to be covering where you need to. With the force up of Global in the last round, they're not going to be playing a pretty bonus here. They take the knee, potentially concede the double digits to Paper Rex, who will lose the first shot. Say Yudotan's name, and he fires in.
Still a good little pickup nonetheless. Crystal now back in from ropes just to try to play around tower.
He's got his fabled weapon in the sting up.
Dark cover on the side though, Forsaken, he's TP'd upwards. Crystal, how could you possibly be aware? He bursts just to check. And now has a little bit more information. Forsaken then flush back into sight.
You've got the Gravnet back online for Kalias too, so can combo with Darion.
Which could be even more damage given where Paper Rex are currently positioned. All of them though from Global, down ramp. Patman's watching it. You begin with the haunt, and it's easily dealt with. Patman then to re-peek, not quite finding the shots. Crystal, the Gravnet, it does go through, but it doesn't quite collapse onto anyone either. Now for Jing and Divide just to spray through, obviously into the choke point. Paper Rex finding double digits.
Phantom does good things in that distance for Jing there when the opponents don't have all of the armors. Good work out from Paper Rex when it may look a little bit awkward from the crossfires they're trying to establish. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, you're sitting here out in the open looking for some shots as Patman. You've got a Seize, you've got a Prowler. Is anything going to come out? Nope. He's just going to try and stand and deliver, but it's Jing that does it a little bit better from the distance. And now with the 3 on the trot that Paper Rex find in this attacking side, we will finally see what the answer is going to look like for can they weather the buy-up of Global, or can Global do something on this defensive side now?
Well, we'll have to see Kalias stand up to the challenge for now. Darren as well, as they both hold around middle.
See how much utility you can bait out here as well. Wouldn't be too bad of a thing for Global, right? Remove a couple of these key components of Paper X, and it gets a little bit more tricky to potentially get something to dive in towards the site and how you're setting them up. But you got to remember, double duelist, right? Jing can definitely let him lead in if needed.
With some of the utility that has gone out by middle as well, you know, Paper X possibly beginning to gather that this is the current defensive setup that GE is running. Just Poppy on this backside position around B. Easily dealt with. The paint shell's completely blown up in his face. And you also have Annihilation now from Kalias as an attempt, but unfortunately does not quite connect. You got Divide finding more shots down by middle, and it's just Yudotan left alone.
See what he can do in this 1 versus 5 to try and survive with the gun. Good for 1, but just on the tail end here, I want to give a good little golf clap towards Paper X and their, you know, attacked as a unit, right? They were very cohesive in how they're going together into that B site. They're just sending in the utility with the Nightfall, going in, they're dodging the Annihilation. You've got a TP backside as well. You've got great paint shells from Jing, which really, you know, catch Papi off guard, for example. They're just really good layering of utility to come out from Paper X and make that B site execute pretty flawless. Like this round, for quote-unquote, is a flawless when it was decided.
Absolutely concur with that. Yudotan, though, looking for some good damage. And this will be my attempt at golf commentary. Divide chips it. Oh, and it goes in. Golf claps.
I'm not really a golf connoisseur myself.
Neither am I, honestly. I have no idea what I'm doing.
I'd say in this one, Paper X hit the hole in one, and Global Esports have, you know, hit it into the water. I don't know the actual terminology, but they've like banked it in the water.
Bunker? No, that's
no, that's
not
the
right.
sandy thing.
Yeah, that's a sandy thing. Listen to us. Wait, what's the green thing called then? Grass.
Yeah, the green, isn't it? It's just called the green.
And there's like the fair.
Yeah, something
Look
like
at us exposing our lack of golf knowledge.
Let's pick a sport we actually know, or rather, let's play some Valorant and do it on the Valorant that we know. Because what we know right now is that Global need a discussion.
Desperately.
They need to flip things the other side, as Patrick who...
Oh, he's gonna take a Red Bull. Yeah, why not?
I mean, if you're getting some energy up somehow for this team, somebody needs to be, you know, bringing up the energy, right? You expect them to still be okay mentally right now. I think Darion's certainly having a bit of an outstanding performance in the consistency mark for this map, but the rest of the team, I mean...
I'm wondering what their economy's gonna look like for the next round.
Yeah, Yudo trying to do what he could at the tail end of last round, of course, right? But you got a timeout here to really consider, I think more importantly, not really the economy, but how you're just getting back into this map. How you're getting a single defensive round on the board with what you've got available, right? How are you getting Darion to do something with the Judge? How are you potentially, you know, setting up a trap with Kalias, with Yudotan? A lot of this utility over towards the A side of the map. You're looking out for any lurks up through mid with the one in the bottom of the ropes. You're looking out at the top of ramp as well.
Darren snuck in a garage, but yeah, the main hit into this Alpha site. Jing in with the showstopper does spot Poppy out, so now a good idea that most of them are backside and screens. Something though, off of the top heaven position will get gunned down. The trades coming through from Forsaken and Petman as they march on through from ramps. In towards back screen then is where Jing finds his target. Yudotan still trying to play spoiler on the site though. Jing to make quick work of him, and just down to Darren, who was transitioning over from the B side.
Remember, he's got a judge. Definitely need to see him upgrade a weapon. There's not one available at the ramps. The closest is wrapping around into the open at the entry choke of the site, though no one will spot him there exactly.
Yeah, he's throwing the judge away.
It's good repositioning, by the way, from Jing, meanwhile.
Yes, that's going to be the main factor. Even if Petman falls around this position, which is apparently not likely, Petman still consistently finding his form with this Paper X core.
Yeah, right now he is, you know, kind of dotting all the I's, crossing all the T's in terms of filling the void where needed around the map, setting up utility for them, just making sure that he's there to be the supporting cast for this roster. And if you're looking for somebody like that to be consistent for Paper X, that's what you need.
40 assists last year.
Yeah, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But certainly, you know, we are seeing, you know, a new look towards Paper X, right, with Patman in towards it and figuring out a lot of the roles for these players. And I mean, on this map, double duelist, as I said, playing the T1 style, it's looking all right. You know, it's been a bit awkward for him in terms of the actual kills, but you remember, he's found rounds by himself with the operator, with diving in towards the site.
Precisely. This time it's Devi in with the Outlaw, something up around the back. The sudden push out from Global, not a bad idea, but still getting punished by it now. Poppy has to hold off Garage by himself. The Haunt, the boom bot gives away his position. This could be it, Komodo.
Maybe. Someone check Jing PC through the smoke there, able to find the kill to give Paper X the advantage in towards this post plant where they've got, well, spike down and one player advantage, as I said.
The Boombot gave him walls. That's what it was. Well, Crystal and Yudotan. Now, if Yudotan could possibly work his Neuro Theft to his advantage, maybe.
He's taking so long. You've got to expect the flank, right? Surely.
Yeah, the slow creep up. And now you kind of have an idea. Crystal, though, not too bad. Now the Nightfall. Possible chance. Haunt just to throw off the crosshair placement as well. Peeks out. But with the kills not found, Petman ends the map. The final scoreline bringing us to a 13-5 with Paper X taking it away.
Yeah, and I mean, that is a flawless attacking side to come through from Paper X as well. I didn't think I'd be saying that when you consider how, you know, usual defensive leaning this map can be, though. I mean, Paper X certainly making the attacking side look good, showing a lot of vulnerabilities and weaknesses on the side of Global Esports. I think more individually than as a team. You know, there were a lot of moments there where Global were just losing individual duels, not able to get the trades as well, specifically in a deadlock Cypher composition where a lot of their utility was disrespected, right? We didn't really see many traps work out for any kills. We didn't really see any sonic sensors really work out for any kills either. So unfortunately for Global Esports, they will be dropping their map pick of Split here. And for Paper X, well, they best the curse of dropping the first map in a series for us.
It feels as though they have done their homework. They were quite aware of the possible plays that Global were going to play against them. Meanwhile, for Global, a couple of nice clutches. Poppy having a 1v1, but at the same time, like you mentioned, a lot of these moments, especially down to the second half, you just wanted to see more from them.
Absolutely, and I mean, you've got to consider as well, this game here decides who gets that 4th seed going in towards the playoffs. For a team like Paper X, they've never not been in the playoffs, and for Global, they've never been in the playoffs. So they have to try and turn things around on map number 2 of Lotus, which is the pick of Paper X.
Coach Elevated himself said that, you know, he feels that this is the best possible chance Global could get. Paper X are at, you know, they're somewhat lowest, but Paper X have also broken their curse, beating DFM last week. It's been so good so far. They've gotten a flawless attacking round now. What's going to happen on Lotus? We're going to have to toss it to our desk to tell us how.
I don't know how. We're just coaches of this fantasy league on BuildDiff. You have to ask Coach Alex how they're going to do that on Lotus. Now, for Global Esports, had a interesting first half there on defense. They tend to do well on defense on Split, but Paper X is looking You know, I would say this is the strongest I've seen them look in a while.
I mean, I feel like PRX knew this matchup. They knew what global were going to be playing, and I feel like they countered it fairly well stylistically, as well as just having those individual pop-offs that PRX are known for. I feel like the individual level for this PRX team looked very high in this map one, and it felt like they were consistent
Oh, udah
able to
pasti.
win those
Oke,
Udah pasti.
semua bikin troopers cat merah bener ya? Bener ya, kita tagih ya?
Quite a while. It's been their
Oke,
pick and
dan
their
boleh dong
go-tos from
sekali
kickoff.
lagi
They
kita
haven't showed
kasih
any
semangat
different
buat
styles on it just
Bigetron.
yet.
Boleh, ayo Bigetron yang semangat ya. Bigetron. 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 Bigetron.
Nah, itu dia semangat dari
Komen-komennya lucu-lucu
Bigetron.
aja
Dan
loh,
kita
sudah
juga
gini
akan
nih.
melihat dan mendengar dari Bude Clara apakah The Calvaris dengan semangat yang sama untuk melawan Bigetron. Bude Clara, silakan take over. Bigetron. Bigetron.
Let's go,
Jangan mau kalah.
Let's go, Liquid. Let's go, Liquid. Let's go, Liquid.
Kita nggak mau kalah, semangat kita juga masih membara, darah biru masih mengalir dan kita jadi penasaran seberapa semangat nih kalian untuk menyambut minggu keempat, apalagi khususnya untuk melawan Bigetron hari ini dari tim Liquid.
Ya, kita yakin setelah libur panjang di week 4 ini, Liquid bakal punya strategi tersendiri dan bisa meraih kemenangan di awal week ini, dan semangat buat Kyo di God Lane-nya.
Aduh, langsung ya buat Kyowo.
Wah, udah bukan ini nih.
Pesannya buat Kyowo.
Iron nih.
Kenapa nih? Spesial banget sepertinya.
Ya, siapa
Kyo
tahu
terus
Kyo
yang
bisa
di sini.
tembak, Kyo. Tembak, Kyo.
Ih, dongo.
Oh, jadi memang semuanya lagi nyemangatin bareng-bareng tembak-tembak Kyo. Ada Dedek Lukas
Makin
juga.
lama makin
di
dongo
sini
loh ini.
ikut semangatin ya. Jadi semuanya berkumpul untuk menyemangati para player, semua coaching staff, semuanya pokoknya. Dedek Lukas, gimana Dek? Nonton, oh iya. Happy, semangat. Yeay! Katanya happy banget. Bude bisa bahasa bayi kok. Tenang. Tapi kalau ngelihat hari ini, gimana? Kesulitan tim Liquid kalian nilai berapa sih?
Ya, mungkin 9,5 lah.
9,5. Tapi kalau ngelihat dari Bigetron kan kayak mereka solid banget dengan rambut merah mereka. Pengen gak sih tim Liquid juga rambutnya warnanya sama semua gitu?
Jangan.
Oh nggak mau. Oke.
Jangan.
Apa? Kalau kalian pengennya apa nih?
Udah
Sekarang
dari
tim
tadi loh
Liquid
ini.
posisinya sebagai
Ini
Defenders
ada
Champion dari season
terlalu
lalu.
lama, Cok.
Oh season 1 loh, season lalu. Menang
Iya.
loh juara. Di season ini kayaknya minggu keempat mulainya di posisi 7 loh kalian.
Ya, nggak apa-apa lah. Kan kita poinnya juga masih sama semua kan. Siapa tahu kalau menang langsung naik juga kan.
Oke, masih mengharapkan naik ya. Apa nih kalau dari The Cavalry melihat proyeksi dari tim Liquid ID kira-kira bakal sampai nomor berapa sih?
Ya, bisa lah top 3 lah.
Top 3, nggak top tuh.
Kalau bisa upper sih.
Pengennya dari
Pengen
upper.
upper langsung.
Pengennya, tapi
Iya.
apa yang mungkin mau kalian sampaikan untuk menyingsing jalannya pertandingan kita di game yang ketiga, dia mau dikasih semangat-semangat bakar-bakar nggak sih?
Ya, pokoknya semangat buat tim Liquid, apalagi kita kedatangan dari Cavalry Bandung jauh-jauh naik kereta tadi pagi demi dukung Liquid.
Teteh, AA Bandung pada kumpul. Waduh, AA teteh, kumaha damang.
Warga-warga warnet gini ya.
Rame banget.
Rame banget, oke semangatnya dari Bandung juga datang. Lalu
Liquid divisi
langsung
PC
mungkin
nih,
ke
Cok.
tim Liquidnya.
Ya, kayak ada sedikit nyanyian buat tim Liquid.
Anak-anaknya kayak anak-anak warnet banget, Cok, muka-mukanya.
Jadi kayak baru kita buat ini sih, saya sendiri sih.
Wow, keluar album baru ya?
Ya, semoga biar semangat lah tim Liquidnya.
Boleh, ayo.
Boleh saya.
Silakan, genjreng.
Lihat Retrivavian, buatku terpikat pesona romernya Widi. Buatku terikat, ingin ku mendukungnya. Tak ingin ku lepas hingga rasa ini akan selalu melekat. Jika tak ikut kata hati, terus apa gunanya hati? Kau menang pun, ya jelas kami dukung. Kau kalah pun, ya tetap kami dukung. Kami memang The Cavalry, pasti setia yang kami dukung. Liquid.
Langsung nge-lag,
Itu
langsung nge-lag, langsung nge-lag, Astagfirullah, langsung nge-lag. Bang, gara-gara lu nyanyi, Bang. Langsung nge-lag, Ya. Ampun. Bisa-bisanya nyanyi nge-lag loh ini.
Kami dukung Liquid, itu realita.
Itulah dia semangat. Sudah
Ya. Udah semangat.
Comfortable
Yeah.
Omen players in Paper X,
Udah
which I
mulai,
know
guys.
that they've been having a
Game
little
dua,
bit
game
of
dua, game
a
dua.
crisis of who can play Omen well in the last little bit, and then a lot of people were saying, well, they're struggling to play Omen well, and then they're taking Mind Freak out of the roster. This doesn't make sense in my head. Turns out Forsaken's cracked on this agent, so
What
no
can't
worries
he
there.
play?
He
What
just
can't
plays
he play?
everything.
Kalau nggak suka ya.
Are you
main
sad
Vice,
about him
mah ya
being
nggak tahu
taken
dah.
off Waylay?
Java itu kadang rada gimana gitu kalau
I
disuruh
didn't
main yang
mind the Waylay style, and I actually really
adanya
like it
lagi.
when some of the team, like I
Ya,
remember
Vice
when
gitu-gitu
Secret
tuh.
played it, when Talon played it.
Dia
We
harus
might even
main
see
yang
Talon play it later, because Lotus we really wouldn't be
lumayan
surprised to
fokus
see
ke
that
ini ya.
come out in the series against T1. But yeah, I didn't mind it, but I actually like this comp for their team a lot better. It
that's it.
utilizes the whole team. You're not throwing something on a breach or something like that, so I think that's going to go better for them. For GE, we've seen them play this map a little bit as well. They kind of been playing that RRQ style, but without the Viper, they got the Cypher in instead, so you're going to see a lot more trap plays with the Breach Teo and the Cypher, and then you got the Yoru being played there as well. So I wonder if they're going to stick to that, because I can't remember if Darion did play Yoru very much at all.
yeah.
So, but they might just throw him on the Raze or a Comfort Agent, something like that. That would also be fine, I think.
Yeah, I do think things will probably be... If they want to stick with this Cypher over the Viper, things might get tough for them when you're playing against Yoru Raze. They both have easy ways to break those trips, so trying to hold those sites with Cypher is going to be much harder than if they do decide to swap to that Viper. So I am curious if they're going to try and change things up. I think they're going to know that PRX are bringing this same double duelist style that they just brought on Split. So I wouldn't be against the change here for GE, especially with the change of kind of personnel, with Darion, you know, being on that duelist role more permanently now.
I don't think you're going to see Udatan on a Viper. I don't think that's going to happen.
I agree
I think
with you.
it would only happen if like Udatan is playing the duelist or something like that. But I think they're going to stick with it. And I was pleasantly surprised by Darion that game. Darion definitely wasn't the issue on GE for me in that map.
Yeah, I think it's been sort of evident that the current coaching staff wanted Darion back in, and I can see that potential why. We did see Darion play like this once upon a time, so it's good to see that come back here to his full potential. That stat there, I couldn't catch it quick enough. Was that from with Darion still playing, or was that Patrick Who's stat?
I think the last time they played that was Patrick Who was in, right?
Yeah, it was. I haven't seen Darion playing Yoru. I'm pretty sure it was Patrick Hu on the Yoru. We saw it against DFM, and then I think another series against Talon, maybe. I can't remember.
Talon's in the other group. It must have
in
been,
the other group.
DRX or Gen G.
DRX or Gen G. Yeah. Well, they definitely did. I think they played this comp twice, and I definitely do remember Patrick Hu running out against DFM and them not doing anything, and he was just killing people for free. That definitely happened. So it was against Boom. Apparently. How confident are we?
Thank you very much.
100%.
Our wonderful ghost is helping us out with the stats.
Komodo is carrying the desk. Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see. I think I would like to see changes from Global, but they are sticking with what they know here. Darion is on the Yoru, same Breach Teo style, and Udatan staying on that Cypher. As I just mentioned, he will have a rough time because Paper X are running double duelists.
Yeah, I think the Yoru is going to help a little bit against the Vice of Defy, but once again, you're going to see this double duelist comp. Jing, you know, he's been a little bit miss on the Raze last time that they did play. I did like something on the Yoru. This is one of his more comfortable Yoru maps, although he looked a little bit out of it on Split initially, and also on Pearl, he swapped back over to Jet. This is a map where something on the Yoru worked very well for them, and they have a lot of setups built around it where he might be solo A and they're masking A pressure, and then they've got a trap prepped somewhere else. So hundreds maps for something. There you go, and it's going to be on the Yoru.
It is. Funnily enough, when he was saying, I'm not so comfortable on the Yoru, and like you said, this map, the last time we saw it last week against DFM, he looked like a Yoru player. He didn't look like a Jet player. He looked like he was playing Yoru the way Yoru is meant to be played. So let's see if he can repeat that performance, because it was phenomenal last week, or if GE can bring this to a third map and get closer to playoffs. We're going to send it back to our casters, Komodo and Quack.
Thank you very much, Victoria Big Time. And Pilsky, yes, we've got the something. You're back at it again. He was doing pretty amazing things with the operator in map 1. And this is also a map where PaperX last had a 10-2 defensive first half against DFM last week.
Gotta remember though, DFM was the game that Global Esports managed to win on this map, but then they lost to Boom Esports, which is what we're following up on that, where we did see Patrick Hu on the Yoru. Now we've got Darion slipping in there, but what it was a 13-1 loss against Boom. So I don't really know how much stock that we have for GG for Global Esports in this map, but we will see if it's not going to be a quick GG here.
Hopefully not. That's it, though. We do have something already pushing out from door. Ooh, almost died, but Gate crashes away just in the nick of time.
Yeah, it's a 4-1 spread around the map now for PaperX because of that too. Creep up for the mound control. A lot of work for Forsaken to do.
Well, Forsaken delivered in that first round in the previous map with his smokes. Currently, though, trying to keep himself concealed.
Wonder how much time Global Esports wait before opting to go in towards this B side as well, where the breakable door will go open courtesy of the salvos, and then they start to flood in together as a team.
All out through the rotating door from C side, though. Something, unfortunately, will fall. But you also have Jing and the rest of the gang just around the cage of Yudotan. Yudotan then swings out because of the flash from Poppy, but the shot's not connecting. Defy finds it instead. Yudotan swings back out, but Patman takes the trade off towards where GE are playing then, though, around A-Link. They've got a good angle against the spike. Jing looking to stick it halfway, gets off at the right time, but still not quite able to react in kind. Forsaken for the 1-on-2.
Salvos will eventually come online for Crystal.
Oh, and he's just staying tucked away as well. They hear the footsteps, but now Crystal has to take the shot. Oh, not quite able to find it. Forsaken racking up kills up to a triple.
Are you good?
Angry Forsaken. He has got his runners on there, and he has hunted them down for the 1 versus 3 Red Bull clutch to come on out. I thought that Global might have been able to come away with that, but when you see some awkward shots coming out from Papi and Yudotan not able to get the immediate trade, makes it look a little bit awkward and worrisome. But, I mean, respect has been certainly commanded in this round from PaperX, hasn't it? They are not scared to just take these fights here in this one. And as I said, salvos eventually would come online for Crystal, but Forsaken just wants to get ahead of that one, feeling confident on the kills, and, well, it doesn't faze him. It does not faze him. His 10th clutch to come in for VCT Pacific.
How about that? Reaching new milestones as well. That's got to feel good. And that gives him a little bit more confidence to hold down the sight lines against A. Gate crashes away. G looking to regroup themselves.
Yeah, force up from Global as well, because they got the plant down and it went down to, you know, just 1 player surviving from PaperX in the last round. Now though, spread around mound. Sorry, rubble. See if they're going to opt to stick around A, or if they will look to go and pivot in towards the B side again, or try to bait in PaperX to any unexpected crossfires.
Feels like they're looking for CQB duels on this A side, and the force by Komodo worked out for them in map 1.
Salvo's back online for Crystal.
Salvo goes in first.
You want to combo a little bit of this utility to get the tree control.
Oh, something with the timing, though. Just out from the smokes, but look at that! Stingers aplenty, and GE will collect on kills as well. Forsaken, though, finding one, a second as well. And he does get away from the special delivery, but he knows that there are too many players surrounding him. Yudotan, fantastic to capitalize. Just a buy now.
Something about these 4 subs or thrifties from Global Esports.
It's them recognizing situations as well. Quite aware as to where Defy could show up from, especially with the smoke blocking off stairs. Defy just has to try to go in for a peek. He had the utility in hand, so a little bit unfortunate, but good kill coming out from Yudotan.
Yeah, maybe needed to see a little bit more productivity from PaperX to get some information when they've got the members around the A site there, but it's just the creepiness that comes up, right, from the likes of Global, silently waiting for some of that utility to come back online before ultimately exploding together. Like, that one feels like a pretty drilled round from them, and you know, one you can kind of emulate in scrims if you're in a situation like that. Even on your rifles, for example, they just play it a little bit with the lesser subbies there of the Stingers, which is a little bit more favorable when you do get close up and personal.
Lesser subbies?
Lesser subbies. Submachine guns.
Oh, cool. Yeah. We're learning Aussie slang now.
That might just be me slang. Not 100% sure, but you know.
It's a Komodo thing. Well, nonetheless, it is going to be PaperX stacking up with 4 onto this A site. Darren, though, with the outlaw will quickly dispatch them.
Hunter's on though. See if these pistols can do something still for
Oh,
Paper
bahaya
X,
banget,
getting
Cok.
really up close and personal, but that just doesn't work out, doesn't it? Yudotan finally in the game.
Yeah, no chance at all. I mean, those footsteps were
Daripada beli
very
pistol sih nggak
audible.
masalah sih
So
itu.
Yudotan, great to
Cuman di
rack those
game
up. Now
3
he's got the Neuro Theft for
round
future
4 aja.
rounds. Devi, once again, left alive. And he's going to just try to find whatever he can. Good little swing out. Takes Yudotan down. But, of course, the trade coming out then from Poppy.
Yeah, getting the Neural Theft going online for this belated bonus round is going to be pretty good for Global, you would expect, if they're able to waltz around the map as well. And, you know, for example, push Paper X out of Mound. They're able to get the orb there, and then they get a Dimensional Drift online for Darion. So there's an opportunity that they definitely could steal away this next round, depending on what they look to do, and depending on how aware Paper X are going to be towards this C site, where they've not really gone for too much of the Mound control either themselves. Specifically now, judging by positions as well, they're not really going to be able to do something with just Devi holding that one. So this will be a pretty good start to the round for Global Esports to get that Dimensional Drift online and act out from there.
Yeah, keeping Paper X conditioned
Setupnya
over onto the
agak
A side.
beda
Well,
ya
at
ini
least
ya.
Jing will pick up an alt orb as well, though, so
GG.
possibly for future rounds. But right now, Devi has to do some heavy lifting. He's feeling the pressure coming out. He hears footsteps onto the other side.
Well, he's just put more thorns down on the side as well. So getting an idea that it might eventually end over at this C site where you've still got the shear wall up the front of B and a pivot available with the rotating door if you feel any more pressure towards C. But you didn't have an idea if anyone was pushed up there. That's why the thorns get popped. And now you've got
Perfect
Global
doang
Esports
ternyata
looking to
di
get some mound control.
DC.
Rubble.
Oh, and he's getting suppressed as well. So Forsaken not able to TP out. He does run into a link,
lambat
back
lagi
to
nih harusnya
stairs, maybe a heaven.
Nunggu si
But
ini
this
ada skill
is
lagi.
a slight opportunity for
Harusnya.
Global Esports to possibly get more leg room
Nunggu
around
bridge-nya
the
ada
A
skill
side.
lagi nih.
Just need to have a good decisive call though from
Yeah.
Global. If they're going to pivot towards the C site, now's kind of the
Tapping my
time.
watch.
They're starting to run it over, but 30 seconds, you're
Sabar
exactly
dulu
right.
sih.
Devi for
Ooh,
all of the information.
Devi.
Look at that.
Colette picked up. Yudotan to trade right back, though, as Patman peeks out from Pillar. Now Devi continuing to hold tight off angles around the C site. He's looking for more. Jing trying to get in with the kills as well. Blast packing through, but Poppy good on the shots off the Guardian.
And now you got to reposition from Poppy.
10
And Forsaken
seconds.
has already started to waltz on over. Willie expecting to come through the breakable door. It was already open.
Oh, he's got smokes up as well. Not quite watching the angle, though. Forsaken! Crosshair placement, sharp and precise. He's going to get the kill to bring Paper X up to 2.
Thought it might have been a little bit ambitious of Jing to get in there with the satchels through the rotating door to help out Devi as well. Specifically when I'm looking at how close Poppy is towards from the shadows as well. You know, if he's given the light of day to get that one off and bring the spike with him towards the A site, there might have been a real opportunity for him. I believe he even had the Archros available at the right location. Towards Bound 2 potentially there, but this one right here. Hey, at least he got the one trade to bring it into the 1 versus 1 at the end there for Forsaken to be able to clutch that again.
A little bit eager, but you know, I'm not gonna fault a brother for trying to help another brother out. We'll see what happens then. We do have Petman on the judge now.
Yep.
They're still up.
I personally would like to see something get a little bit more confident on this Yoru. Speaking of Yoru, Darion for his second ever appearance on this agent.
Oh yes.
From what I was able to see, it looks like the last time it was played was in some sort of overtime variety where he did go double negative. So,
So this is Coach Elevated, just trying to stick to the same composition. Darren clearly still able to make it work though. How proficient? Well, we have yet to see that so far. But right now it's an opening pick. Something also down to low HP.
Yep. Darion certainly capable of learning in the server, it seems, at the moment to chop and change with the team. Good shot out from him there on a Jing. This is looking like a well-formulated round for Global so far, and now even better when it's a 5 versus 2 situation.
And Paper X slowly getting picked apart. You do have Devi with the Steel Garden, but it's 2 on 5.
Yeah, it'd be pretty risky to drop that one in. You can already see by the position of the Paper X members that they're just going to have to call for a save in this sort of situation, and with the credit mark in this round, I don't really favor Global Esports going for a hunt here. You can understand if Kelly S wants to, but I mean, you kind of just play respectful at this one. It's early in the half. You want to balance out your own economy. Just let them save this one and stew in the fact that Global will win a actual gun round for once.
Yeah. Slightly working off of time, but it's also with the confidence gained from the opening picks that they found. It's not too bad, you know, and I would like to jest, but 2v5 was a round that, you know, went by last week against PaperX from DFM.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is obviously a different scenario.
For sure. And now you've got a little bit of time to just, you know, converse things over at the tail end of this round. Immediately seeing better impact, better positioning, I think a little bit better calls as well, specifically where the boom game is concerned for Global Esports as well. For those that might have just been joining us, that scoreline was a 13-1 in favor of boom. And in this one, yeah, already a little bit more delivered to us from Global Esports. A timeout though from PaperX you'd expect here to further converse things over.
More time, why not? Certainly if you feel like you need it. Meanwhile, on the other side, I mean, Darren certainly has been quite the upcoming talent. You know, seeing him from Bleed from before, he's found some moments for himself, like Aces against, I think, Gen G. Now, off to the Yoru, second time ever, like you mentioned, Komodo, and he's still kind of picking things up, and he's able to perform. PaperX, you know, they've been getting picked apart, at least in the previous round, trying to gain some positioning around A main. What's it going to be for the next round?
I think more importantly for me, it's Global getting a sense that they can do things together as a team, making sure that the trades are going to be there, and making sure that Darion's like not too far in front of the team as well, right? When you are running the composition that they are running on the solo Yoru, you really don't want Darion just going on yonder and losing his life with no real impact in the round, right? Looking like a headless chicken. So making sure that he is together with the team and getting set up by the likes of Kalies, by the likes of Crystal as well, going to be quite important. You want to see Yudo-tan be this late lurker, the straggler to go around the map.
Especially with the fact that Global still has an up in the equation as well. You know, this kind of means that PaperX is going to have to think twice if they're going to peek out, you know, Rubble and Mound as well.
Yep.
They do have something up by Mound currently.
Yeah, waiting for the pot play, right? You can spot out what you can from something. You can have an Arc Rose go and you can try and peek out together as the team, but without seeing anything, it's on to Forsaken to communicate if he hears anything towards the A side of things, for example, for then PaperX to either call that they need to do something at Mound and then rotate, or just rotate silently.
Pistols as well, which is, you know, kind of an unfortunate situation for PaperX. But that said, off to the A site now. Global beginning to retrieve some information, some crucial intel.
Darion spotted absolutely nothing over at this A site at the moment. Forsaken now to get some info.
Whoa.
But the fact that that's a free kill is quite unfortunate for Global. It makes things a little bit weird in this round where there's 2 rifles, 4 PaperX, couple of pistols. That gun that's dropped towards spawn not going to be recoverable. But you do have a player advantage where a situation like this, Quack, the Steel Garden investment could be large.
However, that comes down to Yudo-tan trying to hold the angle. Unfortunately, gunned down by Jing. Showstopper possibly getting deployed in the round. Kelly S just trying to play up by drop. Not quite spotted out yet, but here comes that rocket. Not quite landing as well. Kalies then finding a shot onto something. The Steel Garden getting the primary weapons jammed, but Kalies onto the go, still able to find some shots. Forsaken now from the back, but hit it on by the shorty. Patman now with a Phantom finds the kill. Jing off to the defuse.
Yeah, the fact that Forsaken manages to find that first kill up in mid without a trade, and then you've got the Sheriff shots coming through from Jing from together as the team, right? In that scenario, I'm expecting that kill to just be assisted by the pretty much everyone at PaperX looking at the right location. A thrifty round to end it out. I mean, yeah, look at it. All of their guns are ready for that duel just there. And then, as I mentioned, Steel Garden in makes a lot of sense. Blood together as a team, hunting down Global Esports members. A thrifty round to come through from PaperX. And they also get now the operator out for something who is currently 060. If you flip it around, it's 006, and we all know what happens at 007.
Oh, you gotta look to crack that egg. We do like James Bond, but something. Let's not go there, shall we?
Well, maybe it will be Die Another Day.
Okay, Yudo-tan to hold the angle, but yeah, this time it's gonna be Global Esports trying to assert some presence over onto the C site. The Vi has been relegated to play a safer position by Waterfall.
If Crystal wants to try and sell any sort of fake here, it's just going to be the drone to go out by itself. So he's just going to wait to see what he can spot.
Jangan diras dulu nggak sih?
Bit of over-eagerness potentially here from the PaperX members. Yudo-tan spotted out, by the way, during gate crash.
Wah, ini udah pasti kesini orang ini.
Well. So it's going to cause some investment of util for PaperX. Meanwhile, eyes on the prize.
Nah,
of
udah
this
TP nih,
C
udah
site
TP
for
ke
Global
C
is the
nih.
eventual end.
Yes, they off-noted as well, and that's why they have decided to push into the C site now, especially alongside this Armageddon. In case something might have gate crashed over onto this part,
Nice,
the
Davai.
Armageddon renders him useless. Then to Davai, though, who's holding out by Waterfall,
Nice,
on the 2 kills.
gelo Davai.
Clones as well. Darian now trying to do his best, but still Paper Rex
Davai
able
menggila,
to
guys.
flood and swarm
Uncle.
back in with the retake.
Man, Davai has just absolutely brutalized them, hasn't he? 4 kills in the round, just a duel fought throughout. The aftershock in water as well, right? You're just considering that that's going to keep him locked in the corner, but he's just going to play on the back with the visual clutter and go for the kill. He's got assistance from Patman as well, bringing in with the Nightfall. Oh, just delivering the goods there for him. That is a pretty well-structured retake to come through from Paper X when they just have the idea eventually that it is going to be the C site, right?
Oh, and look at that
You
smile.
didn't see him get too hungry early to stick around in the site. Happy to play proper retake.
I couldn't agree more, Komodo. And for the past 2 rounds with Paper X playing like this, you gotta love how Uncle David is able to provide so much more value to the team now on this Vice roll. His Steel Garden won than that Thrifty.
I will say though, Quack.
Yes.
Bad
Do tell.
Komodo is coming here. I got,
Okay.
got my shades on. There was one point in time on a map called Fracture that Divide did flash himself. And,
Couple times, yes.
Yep.
Yep.
But he's learned his lesson.
Yep.
This time, don't use the utility. Just shoot.
Just shoot.
Just shoot.
That's how you play Vice. I gotta imagine the Riot devs, if they are watching somewhere, you know, also feeling like really happy seeing that Steel Guard around. Like, this is exactly what we envisioned for this agent.
I mean, remember, Vice did just have a nerf coming on a couple of, 2 patches ago or something like that now, where you've got less time on the Razor Vines and such. So, still a pretty viable agent, I think personally, in the way that the teams are adopting Vice as well. Meanwhile, folks, back on our something counter, not 007. He did get an assist in there.
All right. And it's still the op, present in the round. So GE does have to figure that out. But currently going for rubble control, they have.
He's got out.
Felt the loss.
He's got out of that one, hasn't he?
So quick off to it.
Kill onto towards Darion, rotating door, still rotating, and his Shroud stepped in towards there, and no one's shot at him.
Still has one more TP as well. GE kind of trying to think tactically around this situation, thinking to rotate back in towards B, but Jing is there.
Just a round of duels at the moment for Paper X, not letting these guns find any opportunity from Global. And now in a 5 versus 2, you need to see Kalias and Crystal do something pretty destructive to get back into this one.
Given the positions, though, they are somewhat susceptible to spams. Paper X trying to keep themselves with minimal exposure, hiding behind corners, and that's when Crystal will find his first headshot. One head cracked, looks for an opportunity to slip into the B side, re-peeks, takes down another player, but Jing, Jing, you're just happy to clean things up for Paper X.
Yeah, so far, 3 on the trot on this defensive side, starting to play with a little bit of the piggy bank as well, right? Building up a little bit of the economy there. Jing far out in front of the rest of the team. As we just see a lot of these duels in that round, won by Paper X pretty cleanly. A little bit of damage delivered and only 1 casualty, or 2 casualties rather, at the end of that one. But you'll still be pretty happy with how things did result there on the back of a timeout as well, right? Nothing really eventuating for Global Esports there, but another buy up they will present. A lot of rubble control to be established by Paper X, and I think if you're Global Esports, you need to recognize that these slower paced rounds have not been working, so you got to get a little bit of a quicker wriggle on. The Sheer is not at the front of C. You've got an Omen, you've got a Yoru. You can get to the back of this C site early.
Oh, but they're feeling some, well, I'm afraid to say this word, but PTSD. They knew that Davai has been playing on the C site.
And he's got the Steel Garden yet again, remember? So just the success of a couple moments ago on that A site now reenactable. Speaking about something.
Yeah!
Hey, we're on the board!
Woohoo! You're gonna pop some party streamers and everything, but yeah, back into the C site, precisely with this possible Steel Garden. Slight mishaps here and there, but they are able to get boots on the ground on C. With that, maybe the spike as well, but then the Steel Garden comes out. They're pushing all the way through just to try to wrangle more space, but Jing denies it outright. Forsaken walking up the pillar as well, and now, something. You're just pushing Kelly S away. He's looking for some kills right back, though, but out of the gate crash and it's into the shorty. Something
Kenapa itu?
not letting Global Esports breathe at all.
1 HP. It's close, but he gets it done. I was looking at actually the positioning off screen from Crystal. The Steel Garden, we saw the tail end of it, looking to remove his gun up through the middle of the pillars, but Forsaken stuck around and found the kill the whole time with the operator. So even the heads up and disciplined play to come through from Paper Rex, that they know that potential lurk is coming because they didn't spot him on the hit. They didn't see the Taeho utility in towards the site when they opt to fall back towards the holes, towards Waterfall. So you got to be really aware that Global Esports are liking to have these little later lurks from somebody to come around the map. And oh dearie me.
It would appear that a client has crashed.
I think we've been pretty good here in Pacific so far, dodging a lot of these tech pauses.
Yeah, we have been. Most of the group stage has been pretty, you know, tech pause-less so far. But we cannot keep things clean. Things that go up eventually go down sometimes, Komodo. It's just the reality of things.
Yeah, it's like a roller coaster. They go up, they go down.
It's gravity.
You know what doesn't go, what is it? Down while up? An umbrella through a chimney. Can't make the umbrella go down a chimney while it's up. Doesn't fit.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's just the, what do you call it, surface area.
Yep. Tech pause though. Players can't talk in this sort of situation, but we can. So unfortunately now everyone's got the podcast with us. This guy wants to riot gun buddy. Please, with 3 Zs.
3 Zs. I don't know how lucky you're gonna be, how lucky you're gonna get with that one. Maybe if you hunt some of the reds.
I don't know if I caught it. I didn't see the gamer name in there with the hashtag and everything to give it to. So maybe gotta find it.
Maybe it's in
I didn't see
Korean.
it. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know.
Potentially. Regardless though, Paper Rex, man. They
Something found his first kill.
Yep, getting a bit of a wriggle on how to play this defensive side on this map. Happy enough to play a lot of the retake style, which was quite successful from Boom, for example. Happy to let Global Esports either get into the site completely as 5 and go for the full retake, or try to chip 1 or 2 players away first and then set up for a pretty strong retake, or a lot of the time as well just getting in there beforehand and throwing a spanner in the works too.
That's it though. Allow me to try to pick your brain a little bit, Komodo, because Global Esports are definitely a, you know, formidable team. They have potential. We've seen them swing rounds where they have Thrifties being picked up. You know, they force bot with the Stinger and they managed to turn things around a little bit. Just when it comes down to some of these rounds, they begin to, I don't know, lose the lead.
There's some miscommunications from the outset that I think is one of the things, right? By positioning and timing, you know, even layering in towards these executes as well. Like the thing that I highlighted in the previous round was a Paranoia comes in a little bit later on from Pappy, and that blinded Darion when he TP'd in towards the back of site. Like imagine a scenario where there's players on the C site from Paper X. It's not just fully disconnected and Thorns popped, right? They'd be dead to rights, free of charge in those sort of scenarios. So it's this indecision making coupled with some ill timings on a couple of these moments in time, either repositioning around the map or utility specifically as well, that, you know, does make things look a little bit awkward and can be their undoing. Because don't get me wrong, they've got some pretty good rounds. Like we saw some pretty good rounds from them over on Split, but more often than not, we just see better decisive rounds from the other teams.
Yeah, there you have it. I couldn't agree more because, you know, well, this is Darion's second official Yoru game. I don't entirely fault him for having some of these mishaps with the flashes, but they do happen. And at the same time, like you mentioned, the indecisiveness. We've been talking about it since map 1. Possibly another thing is also just the fact that they're not using the TENS mouse, Komodo.
Aren't they?
I don't think so.
I had actually taken complete stock on the peripheral usages of the players here.
Speaking of mice, though, I do know that you are quite the
getting into my mice connoisseurness on broadcast.
This guy uses finger. His mouse is like
22,
super
21
tiny,
grams pure carbon fiber.
Ridiculous, insane. I don't know how you make it work, but you make it look good. But that said, yes, still with the tech pause, bear with us.
It's No, it's one of these. It's one of these things as well, where it's like Split, of course, in the veto chosen by Global Esports. It makes sense when they're allowed to pick that one. I don't see a world in which they don't pick Split, so PaperX expect that one, and then they've got their choice of the veto as well, where Global will remove Fracture. Okay, understandable. PaperX remove Haven. Okay, understandable. I think looking at this veto, it may very well have been one to be an expected result for both of these teams. The decider, of course, between Ascent and Pearl, that PaperX get to choose towards Pearl, which to me is a bit of an interesting one, because ending on Pearl I think would be really spicy when we consider what PaperX did last week against DFM, and we also look towards what we've seen so far from Global, right? They played it against Gen G where it was a mid-range loss. They had a really close win against DFM in the opening week. You know, trying to change things agent-wise as well. So there's options, right? We can definitely see a lot of these options here from them.
Possibly. But first, you've got to make your way through this current Lotus map.
Yeah,
and it's not as though G can't do it.
Well, you got to remember, if you don't make it through Lotus here, you lose 2-0.
You're
have
out.
only won against DFM in a 2-0 fashion. You didn't get a single map against all the other teams. You're out of playoffs. And then you've got time to kind of rework things come stage 2.
It's the entire cake, you know. I think sometimes, well, the cake is a lie, and sometimes you have just these situations where it's really tough for GE as well. I mean, okay, the timeout. Oh no, we went from a tech pause to a timeout.
Common.
Okay.
Pretty common when you've got a you know, lengthy tech pause and you potentially even forget what was discussed just beforehand. But Global Esports will dive into their second timeout of the map now.
Yeah. And that's one of the other things that I was just about to go into, with the fact that Global Esports, while they do have a pretty good chance at maybe taking down PaperX, who have been on a bit of a loss streak, cracked that loss streak against DFM last week.
Yeah.
Global have gone through their own host of issues as well. You know, elevated, promoted to head coach mid-season. Patrick Hu with some visa issues, and then you got Darian coming back in as well. They have some good ideas. They have some core strategies that they have been able to employ at certain times. We saw a little bit of it onto Lotus, especially when they were, you know, with Crystal, waiting for those salvos to come back up. They exploded all over the A site. But after that point, you know, without much information or without much decisiveness, you start to see them lose rounds to pressure, time, or getting their players getting picked off by Forsaken, who just TPs in towards Rubble and out.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Global Esports maybe go for something a little bit quicker here, but getting in towards a site and not immediately trying to set themselves up for a post. They need to take the challenge towards PaperX here, even maybe before going for the full plant, take it a little bit further to them. You know, change it up, right? You've got Dimensional Drifters Darion to sniff out a lot of this information. That could definitely set up your team to get a little bit further into a site. Not specifically the A site though, because PaperX have already scared you away a little bit here.
Yeah, just pressing the button on that door as well. Certainly trying to make some noise towards B though. The fake out already used. Okay. Pings from PaperX.
Toying with a little bit of the rotations here. You'll set up the sheer wall over at the C side of things for PaperX, and majority of your forces ready for a mound trap. Meanwhile, the A site eventually, the hit for Global Esports is a very similar setup to what we saw previously, with Forsaken being a little bit closer to the breakable door to get the information. But now, PaperX have the mound information, and they should know that this is going to eventuate towards the A site for Global Esports. Quack, my question though is, do they go a little bit further than the site itself to stave off PaperX?
Comes down to how much Darian can find. I think good that the team was able to follow through off of the Dimensional Drift, but now you're hearing some fake footsteps off to drop as well. Something trying to throw them off his scent, and then for the rest of PaperX to group up behind.
Yeah, you can't use that gate crash, unfortunately, there, as old mate Darion, you're stuck in towards the site, but you've got a lot to do here with the team. Let's see if Global can get this.
PaperX quite aware of where the GE players are, though, just to take the first hit down by Tree. The second one kill going free as well. 4v3 now, and PaperX continues to push on through. Immediate salvos from Crystal, though, does push PaperX off position just a bit. Jing then taking Poppy down by the back. Unfortunately, TP's not quite favoring him now, but all of a sudden, look at the kills. The stingers from Crystal and Darian just decimating PaperX in whole. Thrifty found by Global Esports.
It's another Thrifty that they're able to pull away with. They can't convincingly get a proper round, it feels like, but at least that one is across the board. The from the shadows that does come out there as well from Papi is a little bit questionable, but I think maybe a little bit more questionable is Jing on that spray time. An issue at the end of that one, not for Global, but for Paper Rex. Can't establish themselves on the spike early enough because of the damaging util that the Salvos provides. Global hold on to try and tie up at the half if possible.
Which would be a pretty decent start. You got ops now on both sides as well. Yoru for Yoru, but something with the peek out from Mound.
Give me more, he says. The problem is though, Quack, you've removed the smokes from Global Esports, and they don't even bait out the shear.
Quickly shot down by Jing.
Yeah, makes it really awkward to try and get in towards this site. Though, if Jing's giving you a free opener there, back to balance out in the 4 versus 4, you take that.
SG versus SG. Darian, good for a bit of an opener, but now you've got to trip the sheer wall, or for everyone just to hop on at the same time. They will trip it, and then for Crystal, try to lurk around rubble, but unfortunately shut down by Forsaken.
Crystal's lurks have not really worked out too much, have they? Now you get the information from the shadows from Forsaken. I think he might have even spotted all 3 members out just then.
A little bit odd for the Initiator to lurk as well, but that said, it's going to be something on this Yoru.
And he's still got Thorns available as well on something's call.
Yeah, quick off to it. But ooh, shorty swing. They both had the same idea, but Darren just dunked on him a little bit quicker. Sight now handed over onto GE, but Paper Rex quick to flood back in as well. Forsaken looking for a cheeky angle. Prowler will go through, not quite finding anyone. Just clearing out the front portion of the site. Then Rolling Thunder to push Paper Rex further back. Shorty though! And that's Kelly has cut down by half around the torso. Darian now just marking Forsaken. Still going for the crosshair wiggle. He has an op after all. Will find his target, and then for Yudotan to slay the rest of Paper Rex down.
Some crossfires in the end there for Darion and for Yudotan, being very patient to not reveal where that operator is posted as well. Nicely done from them, despite losing the first frag in the round and losing Papi on the smokes as well. You consider, right? Sheer not popped at the front of B, makes it look a little bit awkward, but 3 versus 3 scenario, and you start to feel Spike is down. Will they manage to get the post plant worked? They will. So going into the last round of the half, 5 versus 6, they can definitely look to equalize here.
Especially considering the ultimates at hand as well. Crystal on the Armageddon. Paper Rex, though, once again, beginning things with huge rubble control. All 4 pushing down.
A little bit more forward than we've seen from them in the last couple of rounds, too. So you'll leave something to play potentially by himself and get a little bit of a rotate on, because the Arc Rose has just confirmed a bit of presence around the mound. And this is Global Esports looking to get into the C site earlier. There's no dimensional drift for something. There's no Thorns anymore around the site either, and no Steel Garden for Device. So you're really playing on the back of maybe a combination of Nightfall and Showstopper here.
Device playing super far back as well. Second Thorns tripped, but he has no idea.
Yeah, he doesn't know that they're in the site, does he? Starting to reposition. Arc Rose was just destroyed back towards Mound.
Nightfall retake play? That's
it?
I
think so. It's got to be the Nightfall, it's got to be the Showstopper, but Global, I mean, they could potentially even try to remove a member before the spike plant goes down. I was just talking about them needing to do something like this.
Oh boy, Yudotan playing with the op around Mound as well. The Nightfall will go through though to 5 for the double kill, but that's Yudotan now. Showstopper kind of whipping as well, but the wall bank shots from Jing. He's got walls. Off to the next one though, it's Crystal with the Armageddon, but as it goes out, Paper Rex just happy to swarm back in off of timing. Just Yudotan, and he's alone. A soul tango, and it's Paper Rex with the Mango now up 7-5 at the end of the first half.
I like Mango. That is a good fruit. 7-5 though for Paper Rex. They're able to win that one on a retake. Pretty good. The rocket goes wayward, but I mean, I think this is probably my most common statement now in this video game when I'm casting. Stun's a cosmetic. How is he getting that kill through the wall? Stunned. They're cosmetic, man. It does not matter.
It doesn't matter if you have the skill to to shake it off.
5-7. This is workable for the likes of Global Esports, but it makes me wonder, it makes me ponder, are we going to see a closeout like the last map where it was just a flawless attack to end things up for Paper Rex? I don't get the vibe. I think we're seeing a little bit more from Global Esports here in their positioning and in their tradability in the last couple of rounds just then. But I mean, it definitely can, you know, have a bad start on the switch up here, and it can spiral, so anything is kind of possible.
anything can happen. As with Valorant, as with VCT, well, just taking a look at past statistics, PaperX's last game against DFM last week, they only had 3 rounds on the attack Komodo. They had the first 2, but after that, they lost 5 in a row to DFM.
Yep. And then we all know how Pearl
that happened as
ended
well
in that series.
It's a quick refresh of memory. So certainly with that image now in people's minds, you could maybe see this go into a map 3, depending on how Global takes it as well.
I mean, the biggest thing for me that I remember on the DFM versus PaperX game on Lotus, right, was on that attacking side, we saw some great consistency from Devi and from Something. The rest of the team had like 1 or 2 kills each. It was pretty abysmal, but then they flipped it over on a defense, and PaperX looked, you know, I mean, they started on defense, they looked a lot stronger, right? So now going back onto this attacking side, are we going to see somebody for PaperX just kind of be the captain to steer the ship? Or are we going to see Global pick and prod around the map and figure out, you know, any stragglers or any trade superiority?
Would love to see something, but, well, I mean the player. But currently, I think it's Devi finding a sheriff shot onto Crystal, who has to fall back.
Now we get into just the mid-rounding of this one, and what PaperX are going to be able to figure out utility-wise. A bit of a trap play on the back of this camera and flash, but you can't do anything in terms of kills here. It's just to stave off PaperX from any aggression, get them to draw out some of the utility, which, to be fair, the paint shells being brought out by Jing works good for Global. They don't have to contend with that.
It's okay, macro-wise, some utility traded out, namely the Paranoia as well, but right now PaperX still looking to break their way through. That said, though, Yudotan, he's anchoring down the site. 2 kills found, and he's looking for a 3rd as well. Jing narrowly dodging out with his life intact. Kelias then looking for a potential flank around. PaperX looking for alternate routes across the map. Maybe back into the A site where Kelias is still hiding in wait. Darian now for the next kill. Swings out then Kelias for the first. Crystal the trade, and Pistol quickly picked up by Global Esports.
Yeah, their first one of the series as well, of course, both of them going in the way of PaperX in map number 1. The first one of this one going to PaperX as well, but then it's always been that second round that you kind of consider. Would Global Esports manage to answer back with the force up at the Stingers or not? They don't need to worry about that now, as they will potentially, well, they should tie things up 7 apiece before we get the guns back and started in this half.
You just said don't be scary. Like the player?
No, we want him to be like scary.
I know.
He was good.
You're saying you don't want Forsaken to be like scary.
Don't be scared. I think more importantly right now, Darion not scared to take a duel, dispatching of Forsaken first. He first fell in the last round, first falling in this one as well, and it should be hunky-dory here for Global Esports to tie up.
Until, though, Jing diving in with a Bucky will take a kill down. Bulldog picked up, looking for some suppressive fire to allow his teammates to possibly get the spike down.
Yeah, happy with that.
Will do that. Bulldog swapped on over, and Jing to try to play around these tight corners with the Bucky still. Something, though, attempting at peaks. Got the fake out with some footsteps over, and PaperX just dwindling around, dawdling around, just around these corners in case Global Esports begin to flood in. Patman finds the first shot, but instantly traded by a Stinger. Now just Jing. He's gotten 1 kill on the Bucky so far, but unfortunately the paint shell's in his face, with Crystal jumping up on top as well. Global with some damage sustained, happily to move up onto a 7.
It's always a scenario in the heat of those moments as well that a lot of players don't vertically look up onto the boxes and they get taken down from above. But hey, an aspect there that works a treat for Global Esports. Some damage done. Yeah, they lose 3 members in the piece, so that'll have a bit of impact going in towards this next round. That'll be the bonus round for them. We'll see what that does kind of look like for PaperX now on this attacking side, if they are able to, you know, win the round that they should be winning, quote unquote.
Yeah, poised to potentially take a couple more rounds, especially with the economy not too healthy on the side of Global. But that said, yeah, you do have some Stingers and weaker weaponry onto the side of PaperX as well. Jing possibly looking to dive onto players again, but also mound control now coming out from Global Esports. You got the aftershock being sent through, but look at Devi. Quick with the burst onto 2 kills by Pillar, and that could give him the pinch around the door as well. He preps the button, he does get the 3rd, but quickly traded by Kelly S. Crystal and the rest of them also looking to flood back into the B site for some safety net, but still Forsaken quick on the draw.
I mean, I don't know if that one's the actual W gaming to come through from PaperX, but they certainly were looking to turn up the pace in terms of all of those duels around the map. And I mean, mound control, I'm looking at, you know, Forsaken potentially dying to the aftershock if it gets thrown his way. You saw him pull out just before the switch of the Observer, you know, the paranoia, but quickly Shrouder steps away and is still able to assist the rest of the team. And then eventually, you know, PaperX get the cleanup. So those are the rounds that you just need to weather and play in amongst the chaos there. And for PaperX, they will reclaim the lead here. But will they be expecting the operator for Darion? Nobody up through the guts of mid. That's some good information for Global. And now they should know that PaperX have got in towards this C site and set up for a post plant.
Yeah, Yudotan and the rest of them backing all the way far off as well. Jing, a lot of space taken up around Hall now, and that allows them to put this one way up. Another smoke up towards Waterfall as well.
Rolling Thunder for Kelly S could be quite pivotal here.
Gets into range. He's looking to deploy at the right time for the rest of his team to then be the catalyst to push on through. Darion with the first shot, something getting taken out. The rest of PaperX, though, vacating the site to try to play around Mound instead. Paint Shell sent over as well, but Aftershock taking Jing out of the equation. Now PaperX completely smoked off. They need to find the kill around the diffuser. They will do just that, but still, Global Esports with the numbers looking to dominate and push on through. We have found some semblance of global domination in round 15.
I don't know if I call that one domination. That was very hairy at the tail end of that one there, Quack. I mean, the trades that start to come on out. Jing did get caught in the Aftershock. Tag on towards his body when he's trying to get out those paint shells as well and just couldn't disconnect from all of the action. I mean, it's always a risky thing to try and go for a full mound post-plant control situation. PaperX, I mean, they put it on the back of Forsaken to try and win that one, but Yudotan just there for the trades from above time and time again. And we will equalize up once more. Global will reset the economy of PaperX, who have an option to do something funny yet again here with what they go into this round with. Steel Garden, Nightfall. You lose one of those if Darion keeps on creeping.
Oh. That will be that drop. Jing with a Bucky again, too.
Good kiss there.
This time in towards A-Link, where with a Bucky in the spot, you know, Poppy and the likes of Kelly S, they're going to have to think twice before pushing into this area.
But that's a good paranoia.
It hits, but you're not going to peek into it. How could you, knowing that there could be a Bucky on the other side? And now Kelly S unfortunately getting taken out by that op, picked up by Davai as well. Just Yudotan, who is really in any good position to do something, but he's smoked off as well.
I mean, as long as Davai is keeping this operator into the next round, it does not matter who dies for PaperX here. If they steal away any of the guns that had fallen onto the floor, okay, you want that player surviving. But it kind of doesn't matter anymore. PaperX are just going to be answering back into this round. Maybe ending it with a flawless. I mean, the Hunter's a little bit on towards Yudotan because the credits are absent for Global. Any escape kill here will hurt. But I don't think they're going to happen unless Forsaken gets him. No, it's okay. So not flawless in a complete sense for PaperX, but the way that the round essentially should have gone there, they did it flawlessly, right? The investment of the Nightfall, just getting in towards that site, getting the shot onto Darion, looking, I think, unscoped at that current time, right? And then the Bucky here just straight towards Crystal's face.
Yeah, both teams having some instances where they do kind of push out a little bit too far at certain times, but nonetheless, this is going to be now PaperX 9-8. That was a little bit of a thrifty round, by the way. Global Esports now with a slightly weaker weaponry.
Gotta get all this information, gotta answer back as Global. You can't do anything on this combo utility, or can you? You're trying!
Off to the shorty. Yudotan has arrived as well now, but he doesn't quite have the angles just yet. Looking for the spray transfers, but it's just Jing with the Bucky! He's found 3 kills! Crystal, though, Sheriff shot. And now the drone. Davai has been suppressed, but all he needs to do is to just lock down this angle.
They can just run. They can just run to the C site. There's nobody home to welcome them with milk and cookies. They can just set up, kick back and relax.
And pick up an ARB. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, get Jing closer towards this showstopper with a plant. He's one away. Crystal, though, an opportunity, if he can find a 1 versus 1, to make this somewhat doable. Salvo's online. An Armageddon, maybe?
You could, like, flood the whole site with that entire kit. Maybe.
Yeah, but...
You know there's an op in play potentially as well, but well, yeah, okay, Jing's got the Phantom now, the angle. That's just pick missed from Davai. quickly finding it.
Double digits for Paper X, and I'm really excited to see this replay for Jing.
That's
Just
3K
dancing around with the Bucky.
We had a Bucky ace from Mr. Frala and EMEA, and now we've got Jing doing these things. Oh, they were all flashed.
Yeah, I mean, you look at all the utility that came through from Global Esports in the beginning of that, right? Dimensional Drift, you got a fault line, you got flashes and everything, but I think it's the counter utility from Paper X that makes that one a little bit better. And now we're in a sort of scenario where if this gun round goes awry for Global Esports, you got to remember and cast your mind back to the fact that they used both timeouts early in the first half.
And through the one-way smoke as well. Timeoutless Global Esports. Can they find a way back into this game? It's a 4v5 in this current round.
And your Sentinel player is now down as well, so there is an open option for Paper X to find around the map to just get in free of charge.
Right, weaker hold across the sites, and well, Paper X goes for the call into B, where it is open. We've got Jing now watching the angles towards A Link as well. The back of B also blocked off. Kelias was attempting something at the very least, but now no longer able. Crystal backing so far off. It's a 2v5.
Gotta save. You do not have the money to be splashing in on this game as Global. It's just going to be another impactful scenario by Paper X that really looks to put Global 6 feet under, doesn't it? This will be 11 for Paper X, and you got to consider, do we force on the back of these two guns as Global, or do we half buy to potentially have a full buy and push us into overtime? These situations in any game are usually quite hurtful, but when you add on the fact, Quack, that if Global won this series, they'd be in playoffs for the first time ever. Kind of hurts a little bit more, right? This is the culmination of the losses in the previous series now that they are put in this scenario.
Well, consolation frag for Crystal at the very least, but you are absolutely right, Komodo. 11-8. At this point, Global, they're going to begin to feel like they just have to keep buying up. They're just going to have to scrounge up the best buy that they've got together.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Dinos, they've just gone global.
Yeah, I mean, we've really seen just consistency after consistency from nearly every series from Jing, right? And he's just doing it again, making sure that he's getting involved in a lot of these duels, winning them significantly.
Picking up slack where, you know, maybe something might not be performing too hot.
I mean, something has not made it quiet that he doesn't really favor the Yoru, for example. It's still really learning.
Right now, at least, though, Jing, okay, getting taken out really quickly, but right there, it's going to be Forsaken, his brother, right off alongside him. With that, then a little bit more space into this A site, the smokes to block off A Link. Heaven, though, then is open, but Forsaken just uses that as an opportunity! Swings out, 2 more kills, looks for the last, and he picks up the 4K!
I mean, you could see the idea on the back of Crystal's mind there as well, holding out the Armageddon, ready for the team to flood, but just not expecting just the absolute charge that Forsaken brings into it. He now as well will meet with 20 kills. There's 3 members of Paper X that have 20 kills on the map, and 2 of them haven't even achieved 10 yet. Sometimes it is an effort by committee, sometimes it's just a full house affair, and it looks like Paper X, I mean, they've just got a read on the deck.
Fully locked in, primed to take this map down. Global Esports backed up against the ropes. Do they have it in them to punch and swing back? Oh, instant TP from Forsaken.
Cheeky, real cheeky. Crystal, how are the cogs turning in your head in this current juncture?
They're still looking to lock down Rubble at the very least, though. Darian watching the off angle. Clone broken, instant TP's out. Forsaken now.
You would never expect the flash to come through in this scenario as Kelias. Ever expect that.
That's just Kelias putting in the body bag. Now Paper X flooding up front. The full march forwards into the site.
Okay.
Yudotan not bad on a bit of a refrag off towards Heaven, but that
is where you pivot. That is where you pivot as Paper X towards the B site. No one else is there currently. You did just see Yudotan in a reposition from Papi.
Yudotan quick to Heaven. But so far, none of the Paper X players visible. Paranoia as well, but it's just Jing on the site. Devi has an op as well, which isn't necessarily the best tool. He doesn't have the utility placed down. Smokes out now from Poppy to get the spike stuck to possibly halfway. The swing from something not effective. Oh, and the angle for Devi not the most favorable either. A good quad kill from Yudotan to bring Global back to life.
I mean, when Papi puts the dark cover on that spike, he doesn't need to move, so the Thorns aren't really going to do anything in that sort of scenario. Yudo time to just stand tall. He really needed to dig deep. I mean, I highlighted it a little bit earlier in the previous map, right? The Yudo time, it felt like he was almost completely absent in that map.
The better
so
this
we definitely needed to see a bit of a step up from him. Coming out with a 4K like that is great. Don't get me wrong. But you're going to have to probably see it done again. GE, it was 4 chances that Paper X had to close out this map. Now it's 3, so at least afforded some more length in this map.
Confidence with the op as well from Darian, but not quite landing the shot now. Instant TP's out. Seaside has been completely open by something on this dimensional drift.
Scoping out the opposition. Nobody here outside Gravel, and this is where they can start to set themselves up in a pretty decent post plant. Kelly S 1 away from the Rolling Thunder, but apart from that, Global, it's just big old dry duels.
Yeah, not too much on the util arena as well. Crystal perhaps if the Salvas come back alive, but right now something is a ghost and he's haunting the heck out of them. Nightfall sent over, Patman trying to drag them down into the depths, but Darian to bring some light to his team. The op shot fired over, something holding the angle. Jing now from Waterfall on an off angle, but the shot's not quite connecting for him. Justify. David looks for the flicks, he gets the spray transfer at the end. The clutch with wings brought to you by Red Bull at the end of it all, but nonetheless, the map closed out at 13-9.
And that means that Paper X will be making it into the playoffs. They will not go down in total defeat in VCT Pacific. Yes, it took them a bloody marathon to get here, but they made sure they had their rests. They made sure that they had their preps ready, and they do indeed make it into the playoffs.
And it certainly looks like they have been evolving as well, Komodo. That's it, though, for Global Esports. Certainly, commiserations to them. They've had a bit of a tough run, tough issues plaguing them all around, but they still managed to stand tall. Yudotan shaking off some of the nerves from the first map, and that said, they've also shown some good ideas as well. They've managed to swing some great thrifties, great force buys off the pistol losses, too.
Yeah, I mean, there were just some actual rounds that they were able to win in that map, wasn't there? But a lot of the time, right, Paper X were there to just get real dirty in towards the mix. A good game, well played for Global Esports, applauses all round. But I know a lot of people, you know, big fans of Paper X. Everyone's been questioning how are they looking there? Are they looking the weakest they ever had? Well, does this answer some questions? You know, it's a step in the right direction, right? They're getting towards playoffs with Patman in the mix as well. And, you know, Tens will be happy, right? He wanted them to get the win, right? You know?
Yeah, I can imagine right across this stage right now. But yes, Paper X, I mean, they've had some highs, they've had some lows, and right now, beginning to come back up to a high. Certainly has been a bit more of a riveting, more convincing performance this week. No longer do we see them going the distance into map 3.
Yeah, I mean, they fight off the curse of the map number 1, right? Split 13-5, closing that one out 13-9. Those are pretty good performances.
But that's it. We'll see what they have to say with the winner's interview.
Oh, hi, sorry, Darian. hello. Hi, Alex. If I could have Patman join me for his first ever Pacific interview. Play here. 페이퍼렉스의 팬맨 선수 인터뷰 만나보겠습니다. 알파 그룹의 마지막 플레이오프 진출권은 페이퍼렉스가 오늘 가져가게 됐는데요. 팬맨 선수가 합류하고 나서 가는 첫 플레이오프인 만큼 오늘 경기 소감이랑 진출 소감 한번 물어보도록 하겠습니다. Oh, wow. This is the first playoffs that you will be going to since joining PaperX. You guys got the last ticket to the playoffs for Group Alpha. How are you feeling about the match and going to the playoffs?